Senator Lisa Murkowski has submitted 15 amendments to the Save America Act. One of them would exempt people born before December 31st, 1960 from having to prove their citizenship in order to register to vote. They are all age 65 plus. Okay. Also, that guy got out of committee, Mullen, 6-5, I think, right? By one vote, by Fetterman. Oh no, 8-7, not 6-5. Sorry, 8-7. I hate that guy. I hate Fetterman. Langdon replaced the bottle with one not containing the drug it actually had, which kind of fucks with the patient. No, yeah, definitely could be. Yeah, for sure. Also, I think I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I think that one patient that he's giving a little bit more of the drug to, the reason why they need a little bit more is the implication because he took some of the other shit or whatever. I don't remember if that was that implication there. This was never ever confirmed, was it? No, it was definitely confirmed that he was taking drugs from patients. I don't remember if he apologized to two of them or just one of them. I know he apologized to Louis because he was taking medication from Louis, and then he might have been from one other patient as well. I thought he watered it down or something. Yeah, I think so, yeah, by diluting the... Do you think Robbie is going to kill himself? I don't know, it seems so. Also, wait, what are we supposed to know? Wait, can we please step back for a second and just level? We all agree we prefer Fetterman to fucking Dr. Oz, right? Yeah, but here, this is my issue with Fetterman, okay? Fetterman seems like he fucks with Democrats for the love of the game, okay? Like, Sinema and Manchin were our crazy pivot swing votes that the whole country was looking at, and their votes were vital in the Senate. These were like the most important people on the planet, okay? Until you knew the power they had. But now it's not like the Republicans have a single Senate vote up or whatever, and Fetterman is our huge swing vote, and that's what, he just fucks with us for the love of the game. He just fucks with us for the love of the fucking game. What the fuck? Yeah, and it's not like Fetterman is sitting in some hugely deep red fucking state or whatever, where it's like, oh, well, that's all we got. Fuck that guy, dude. The question is, do you hate Fetterman more than a MAGA Republican? If Fetterman is gone, he's not getting replaced by another Democrat. Is that true in Pennsylvania? You don't think so? I don't know if that's true or not. But Fetterman to me is not, like, he pushes the boundary of, like, I don't like this guy. Like, I almost wouldn't care if he was replaced by a Republican. Because I don't even know how reliable of a vote he would be. And when I see him because Fetterman uses terms like Trump derangement syndrome and everything. And he, both sides, I don't know. I don't like the dude. Heading to vote, and I will remain the only Democrat that refuses to shut our government down. Pay TSA agents. Reopen. Yes. PA seems to be going heavily Dem this year based on special election performance. Hopefully, we're all going heavily Dem. We're waiting for a response back, but the meeting yesterday was I'm trying to get heavily involved with that. The 23rd District of Texas. Let me check my emails. We laid out kind of our proposal and everything for that. I want to sink my life into that for the next 6 months. If the other side agrees. Like this shit, from a monthly high of 302,000 to less than 27,000. Sorry, I'm a Democrat that votes for a secured border over a wide open one. Like, bro. The fuck is, come on, bro. Ooh, also, What is the race? Who are we looking to support? Well, I'm waiting for a response. I don't know their last name. The campaign name is like Katie for Congress or whatever, but we just have to make sure everything's on the up and up for us to start doing shit. And then I'm going to need Spanish speakers in this community because it's a very Spanish district. Or we're all going to start doing Duolingo on stream 6 hours a day. Oh, I talked about it a little bit on stream. I talked about more on anything else actually earlier, but I don't think we'll watch all of Tulsi's hearing or whatever. But from what I was hearing from Tulsi Gabbard's stuff, if I'm not misunderstanding, it really, really, really sounds like Tulsi Gabbard is throwing the White House under the bus significantly. That's what I heard. When somebody asks you, like, did you guys assess that Iran was an imminent threat to the United States? And she says, the intelligence community is responsible for putting together all sorts of stuff. We don't assess whether or not something is immediately a threat or whatever. That's up to the president. Like, when she was saying that over and over and over again, what's being communicated in my mind is this was a decision that was solely made by the White House. It did not come from the intelligence community, which is a pretty big... Can we watch Desai's video on it? Does he point this out?
Feels like for you, first of all, to be back in Washington.
Oh man, this.
Did Desai get a tan? Here. Oh, maybe it was this. Hold on.
That only the president. Yesterday, you said that only the president, the only person who can determine what is an imminent threat is the president of the United States.
The only thing that makes me second guess my interpretation is it seems like the people questioning her weren't picking up on this. So maybe I could be wrong. And I feel like they would know, but I don't know.
Yesterday, you said that only the president, the only person who can determine what is an imminent threat is the president of the United States. Do you stand by that statement?
Yes, I do.
Director Ratcliffe, do you agree with that assessment? That the president is the only person that can determine if something is an imminent threat or not?
To me, it sounds like she's just really afraid to say outright, we did not tell the president the threat was imminent, which does what you said, but also dissolves any trust in her position. I disagree. Taking her at her word and then reading between the lines, I don't know if you say reading between the lines. It sounds like what she's saying is that the intelligence community, I need to find the exact line of questioning. I listened to it with Mooten. I don't think it was on stream, but somebody was asking like it was a clear line of questioning. Did you blow up all of Iran's nuclear reactors? Yes. Did you really obliterate their facilities? Yes. And do you think there was an imminent threat? The president decides that. That sounds to me like you're saying, we said shit was fucked. We were fine on it. Everything was good. Iran was nowhere near anything. The president's the one who decides whether... That's what I heard when she was speaking. But I don't remember I don't know which part of it we were listening to, or if Mooten had the link to that. I think it was just watching their stream when he was watching it. Oh, it might have been when Ossoff was questioning her, actually.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. Before I
We'll
ask
just listen to his whole line of questioning, I guess.
a few questions, I want to call everyone's attention again to this fundraising email signed by the president that Senator Kelly mentioned earlier.
These are crazy, bro.
In which the president of the United States invites his campaign donors to, quote, claim your spot, join now to receive private national security briefings, to his political donors, featuring a photo of the president at a dignified transfer ceremony with a flag-draped coffin of an American service member killed in action returning to their family. And the American people need to know that the President of the United States is fundraising for his political campaign and his...
Tulsi Gabbard just doesn't know how to spin this. I disagree. I hate her, but I think if she needed to spin this, I think she could. The reason I'm bringing this up now is because I feel like my analysis was bolstered by, if it's even true, but if it's not true, then forget everything I'm about to say. Laura Loomer today was tweeting out that Gabbard is on her way out. But maybe Loomer's just trying to create pressure, or maybe, I don't know if she just tweets random shit or whatever. Dude, people that use Twitter this much, this is not healthy. What do these people do all day? I get paid to do this shit and I don't tweet this much. What the fuck? Scoop. You know it's true because she put scoop. Tulsi Gabbard's political staff expect that she is about to resign following the resignation of her colleague, Joe Kent, 16 Jan 19. But I don't know. I would wait for other people to report on that for it to see if any of this is true or not, I guess.
PAC using images of American service members killed in action, and it's a disgrace. Now, Director Gabbard, I'd like to reground this in your core responsibilities. Under the law, you are responsible for providing national intelligence to the president, correct?
Yes.
And to the heads of executive branch departments and agencies, yes?
Yes.
And to the chairman of the joint chiefs and senior military commanders?
Do they need to spend anything at this point? Yes, because I think the writing is on the wall that this is not a popular war. I can't tell you. I can't give you a state of mind or predict. I really don't know. I don't know.
Across the IC, yes.
And to the Senate and the House and relevant committees, correct?
Yes.
And the law states that the national intelligence you provide to Congress, quote, should be timely, objective, and independent of political considerations, correct?
Yes.
And you noted in your opening statement you're here fulfilling a statutory responsibility and that your testimony, quote, represents the IC's assessment of threats,
That's right.
correct? That opening statement, as submitted to the committee in advance of this hearing, stated that as a result of last summer's airstrikes, quote, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated, end quote, correct?
That's right.
Now, don't always think about what they say. Think about what they're not saying, right? Now, again, these people aren't stupid. So she knows where this line of questioning is going. Now, if this was like a Christy Nome or Pam Bondi or whatever other bullshit, one of these other fucking stooges who's up here, right? If they were said, you guys said correct that you obliterated Iran's nuclear capability, correct? Instead of just saying correct, they would say, yes, but they could still be working on something. We obliterated what was there at the time, right? They could say a whole bunch more, but she doesn't. She gives a crystal clear, yes, it was destroyed. Yes.
Quote, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated.
Obliterated. The nuclear enrichment program, not just their warheads, not just the bomb, but their enrichment was obliterated.
End quote, correct?
That's right.
And is that in fact the assessment of the intelligence community?
Yes.
Yes. That's it. Yes. Nothing else. Yes. Just yes. That's it.
So the assessment of the intelligence community is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated by last summer's airstrikes.
Yes.
That's it. Yes.
And the opening statement you submitted to the committee last night also stated, quote, there has been no effort since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability, end quote, correct?
That's right.
And
That's it. No effort to rebuild.
the assessment of the intelligence community.
Yes.
Yes.
The White House stated on March 1st of this year that this war was launched and was, quote, a military campaign to eliminate the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, end quote. That's a statement from the White House. Quote, the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime. Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
There are a million ways that she could answer this question. She could just meander to other facts. Well, Iran has been hostile in the past. They could, try to get weapons again. We know they were trying to reacquire them, or they were rebuilding, or we don't know where all the nuclear material. There's a million ways that she could answer that question if she was trying to provide any cover whatsoever for Washington. Right? There's a million ways she could answer this question.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it
The intention to
assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False.
The only person who can make that call about imminent threat is Trump. That is a total shuffle of responsibility to that decision. All of that is on Trump. In my opinion, especially given how much every cabinet level fucking loser has carried water for Trump, that is a crazy fuck you to the White House to just totally, because it doesn't sound to me, now maybe in other parts of this hearing, maybe I changed my mind, I've listened to the whole thing, maybe in other parts here she's more supportive of Trump, but this sounds to me like a complete and total, we gave him the intel, I said what the fuck I said, whether or not he thinks we're going to get blown up, that's on him to figure out. We didn't say shit about that.
This is the worldwide threat.
This is exactly what Trump wants. He has the power to decide is how he sees it. I disagree. I think it's what Trump wants in reality, but in presence to the media, I think Trump wants other people to kind of like take some bullets for him or to shuffle the responsibility around, especially with this war being so fucking unpopular, right?
Threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. Was it the intelligence community's assessment that nevertheless, despite this obliteration, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat?
It's not unpopular for the people that vote Republican. I think that overall with the American people it's very unpopular. I think Republicans have kind of sort of supported it, but less than they have other things in the past. Give me polling data for Republicans right now and how they feel about it. Also, it won't survive the gas price hikes. It won't. The opinion will not survive that.
Threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to
Here's
the president
the problem.
based on a volume
No,
of information
it is precisely
that he receives.
it is precisely your responsibility to determine what constitutes a threat to the United States.
It absolutely is the responsibility of the intelligence community. It absolutely is. Like, obviously, this is part of your this is part of your threat assessments, right? For presidential briefings and everything else. Of course it is. You would never leave this up to just the president. Now, it might be the president's final call to act, but
this is the worldwide threats hearing where, as you noted in your opening testimony,
Tulsi is just saying it in a way that will make Trump happy because he hears that he's the boss on I disagree. I totally disagree. But who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this completely differently. I feel like this is throwing him under the bus completely on this.
quote, you represent the IC's assessment of threats. You are here to represent the IC's assessment of threats. That's a quote from your own opening statement. And so my question is, as you're here to present the IC's assessment of threats, was it the assessment of the intelligence community that, as the White House claimed on March 1st, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
Once again,
Well, look who it is.
Stream.
and Senator, the intelligence community has
What'd I miss?
provided the
I'm just rewatching this Tulsi Gabbard thing.
inputs that make up this
It's
annual
fucking
threat
cinema,
assessment.
isn't
Do you want to answer the
It is
question?
She is throwing
nature
you under the
of
bus.
the-
You were correct.
Wait, why are you saying I was correct? Did something come out to prove my point?
I sent you
The
three
Laura Loomer
links.
thing?
That kinda, but I sent you two other links of this hearing, and she kinda did another Donald Trump bad-esque move.
Shit. Okay, I'll check. Hold on.
Imminent threat that the president has to make that determination based on a collection and volume
You're here
of
to be
information and
timely.
intelligence that he is
you're here-
provided with.
You're here to be timely, objective, and independent of political considerations.
I don't think he's ashamed of being responsible for this war, considering he uses literally every opportunity in front of a camera talking about the war. Yeah, but you don't want the impression that like your top cabinet people are not supporting you on it, and this is not a supportive decision. Or she's not giving supportive statements.
Exactly what I'm doing.
No, you're evading a question because to provide a candid response to the committee would contradict a statement from the White House. Let me ask you about your presence in Fulton County on January 28th of this year.
Now that was weird.
You were present at the FBI's raid on the Fulton County Elections Office on January 28th, correct?
I was present for part of the FBI exercising a warrant approved by a municipal judge.
Yes,
to
and the
obtain
FBI was there executing
investigation.
that warrant to seize ballots and materials associated with the 2020 election, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that members of this committee have already opened inquiries into your election-related activities?
Yes.
And are you aware that your general counsel and deputy general counsel have already provided testimony to this committee regarding those activities?
Yes.
On February 2nd, you sent a letter to Senator Warner regarding your...
If she is throwing Trump under the bus, why isn't Ossoff playing along? Genuine question. I actually don't know. That's the only thing that makes me second guess.
I don't think it's super obvious, and I think he's just going down his line of questioning.
Yeah,
in my
usually
opinion.
these guys have their line of questioning written down prior to coming into here. Like they're reading off papers and everything, yeah.
But also, he probably
presence at
wants
the-
a harder response, right? But she can't. I mean, you can't really do that. She's doing it enough. I agree.
Sure. Well, technically, if she wasn't a Republican fucking sellout piece of shit, you would hope that this person would be publicly stating, we had no reason to believe it was an imminent threat. But then, of course, she would be immediately removed from the cabinet, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, she'd
The
be
raid was
removed
that-
from the cabinet. But who else has like done this besides, I guess, maybe like what's his name, Tillis or whatever, who's not running for re-election? Even the people who aren't running for re-election haven't really gone full out like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I guess.
Sure.
Letter accurate?
I don't recall the exact date, but if I sent a letter that had my signature, it was accurate.
You stated in the letter that your presence at the raid was, quote, requested by the president, correct?
Yes.
When did the president request your presence at the raid?
The day of the raid, the warrant execution commencing.
The day of the raid.
Yes.
He called you on the phone?
I'm not going to disclose how the message was delivered, but it was a request from the president's administration to go and help oversee this warrant being executed along with the deputy director of the FBI.
Is it your
Oh, well, fuck. I feel like I actually should watch this now because
You should.
I might just be autistic, or I might have totally different interpretation from everybody. This is also. I don't know if she has to say anything about what comes from the president because there's this really broad thing that I don't understand called executive privilege. And I think it's like the Fifth Amendment, like times 20 billion. Basically anything related to the president, you can just like, executive privilege. I don't have to talk about this. I don't know if she actually has to say anything about communication between her and the president. But she's literally saying
it's an order from the president.
Yes,
is crazy.
Yes. She's literally saying the president of the United States is the one who ordered me to go to Fulton County to be there. Like, that's a pretty crazy statement.
The letter that
Warner regarding your presence at the raid, was that letter accurate?
I don't recall the exact date, but if I sent a letter that had my signature, it was accurate.
You stated in the letter that your presence at the raid was, quote, requested by the president, correct?
Yes.
When did the president request your presence at the raid?
The day of the raid, the warrant
And the day of the raid, Jesus. Okay.
That's a crazy one too.
execution.
But I
commencing.
mean, was she even in the fucking area?
I mean, she's the DNI. She could just take I'm sure they got like a CIA Black Ops jet or something, right? They can invoke that in court, but Congress has the power of oversight. No, the executive branch can't conceal things from the legislative branch. No, I'm pretty sure they can, right? Because I think on the J6 Select Committee stuff, a whole bunch of that, people were claiming executive privilege and stuff, right? Like Mark Meadows never had to testify or anything. What?
Kafka typed too.
Executive privilege isn't that strong. They can overcome it with a sufficient showing of the need for evidence. Yeah, I guess I don't know what that sufficient showing means or how often executive privilege is overcome or...
That's probably not a hearing though. That's probably like
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be here. It'd be
additional
another
thing.
Yeah,
So she could just claim executive privilege here and then make him like actually do that later would be my guess.
maybe. Yeah.
Request your presence at the raid.
the day of the raid, the warrant execution commencing.
The day of the raid.
Yes.
He called you on the phone?
I'm not going to disclose how the message was delivered, but it was a request from the president's administration to go and help oversee this warrant being executed along with the deputy director of the FBI.
Is it your
and
role to
thank
oversee-
the FBI agents who were conducting
Is it
this
your
warrant.
role to oversee the execution of criminal warrants?
It is my role, based on statute that
Basically.
Congress has passed, to have oversight over election security, to include counterintelligence.
But you said
to
you
include
oversaw the raid, correct? You just testified you oversaw the raid?
portions of it.
Okay. Did you handle any ballots or election-related materials?
No.
You were inside an FBI evidence truck, correct? You were photographed inside an FBI
It
evidence
was an
truck.
empty truck, yes.
The president stated, quote, you looked at
Senator's time
votes
has
that
expired.
wanted to be checked out.
The
Is that
senator's
accurate?
time is expired.
Did you look at votes as the president
Senator
stated?
Ossoff, your time has expired.
You respond
can
for the
have her.
record?
No, she cannot respond
No,
because
for the record, will the director please respond for the record to that question is my
I'm happy
question.
to respond to questions for the record.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate.
Wait, she said she was happy to respond to questions.
Well, that's where the Twitter clip ends. Okay, actually link me that whole thing. I need to watch it. Fuck.
I don't have the thing.
Did you see the retarded way they were doing DEI shit? It is as retarded as it looked. Apparently they were just feeding a bunch of stuff into fucking ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or some shit, and they were
Grok.
asking like, "Is this DEI?" And if it said yes, they were just like, "It was just fucking retarded." Oh my god.
DEI to them is literally just like
Anything that mentions black people
woman,
or
black,
whatever.
Jew.
Yeah.
Not the reason they were. So I want to make sure.
Hold on, what is this? Timestamped 4-minute segment about Strait of Hormuz strategy and the ADC of what the Trump admin is doing.
Sure, I clarify that. I never like to leave anything out there where I make a mistake. All right, that's your update on the Strait of Hormuz and the different sectors. Last, I want to talk about what the Trump administration is doing regarding to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And this is going to be out there. I'm sorry, because I got a couple of stories here, and I'm having a hard time digesting them. I'm not going to lie. This is giving me a little bit of pause here. So the first one here. The U.S. may soon remove sanctions from Iranian oil that is stranded on tankers to help lift global supplies and reduce prices, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on Thursday. In the coming days, we may unsanction the Iranian oil that's on the water. It's about 140 million barrels. So depending on how you count that, that's 10 days to 2 weeks of supply. Bessent said the addition of sanctioned Iranian oil into the global supplies would help keep oil prices down. Oil prices have been above $100 per barrel. The Treasury recently took a similar step to allow the sale of sanctioned Russian oil stranded in tankers, which Treasury said added 130 million barrels. Bessent said the U.S. would take other actions to increase supply, including a unilateral release of stocks from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve above last week's coordinated joint G7 release of 400 million barrels. I don't even know how to respond to that. I just don't know. We are bombing Iran. We've been bombing Iran since February 28th. We are trying to cripple the regime and destroy its leadership and its military power. Yet, we are allowing Iran to load tankers, sail them through the Strait of Hormuz, out into the market. We have sanctioned Iranian oil for years. I mean, almost decades we've sanctioned Iranian oil. This has been this is what created the Dark Fleet, is sanctioning Iranian oil. And now, Secretary Bessent says, yeah, we're going to unsanction that, and Iran can sell their oil. Oh, and by the way, The Russian oil we've sanctioned, you can sell that too. Oh. I don't know how to answer this. I try to explain everything. I really do. I try to make this understandable. I don't understand this. I am at a loss to understand this. You know where there's oil right now, Scott, that can supply the world? In the friggin' Persian Gulf that is bottled up there because you're bombing Iran. Get it out. Those 3,200 vessels, a lot of them have oil on it. I know because I'm talking to some of them. Get them out. Don't make the country you're bombing be the one that saves the world from the oil shortage because you're bombing them. Again, I'm not sure what logic we're using right now in the administration. And to be clear, everybody...
I mean, they want it both ways, basically, right? They want to have war without any of the consequences. It is kind of funny to think about because war seems like some real shit, but then sometimes it seems like some goofy shit. Like imagine you're like the manager at a Walmart and you've got like an employee who's like a pretty important, a good employee, but you're also like personally beefing with them. So like you show up at their house and you like kill their dog and you like stab them in the leg. And you know, you manage to flee the house before the police get there, but then you call them the next morning and you're like, hey, I know I stabbed your leg last night. We're like trying to kill each other, but like, I need you to come and work your shift today. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. But we're going to fight after. And I was like, okay. It just seems very goofy.
All right, I'll come in.
Everybody always sits there and yells at me and says, oh, Sal, you're MAGA. Oh, Sal, you have Trump derangement syndrome. I am going to question any administration in what they do. Understand that. I try to be as objective as I can. I don't understand this. I don't understand what they're doing right now. Because to me, the logical thing to do here is to get the oil that's on ships, loaded already, in the Persian Gulf, out. And not depend on Iranian oil, which, by the way, they're going to get the money for. And you...
Holy shit! This is a number I'm going to remember forever. And it's only going to get bigger by the end of this administration. If you had to guess, right now I think we have some, is it around $32 trillion in debt? Or is it 37 trillion?
39.
Okay. 39 trillion. Wait, did you see this last night in chat? Do you know what percentage of the debt is due to Trump's admin?
Oh, percentage? I don't.
It's
I would guess
27%. A quarter of the U.S. debt. And I don't even know where that number comes from. I don't know if that includes, like, because it's impossible to make this argument because conservatives' minds explode. But, like, most of the borrowing that we had to do under Biden can, in my opinion, can be fairly blamed on Trump because we lost so much revenue from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that the loss of all that revenue necessitated more deficit spending because it wasn't paired with any spending cuts, right? So the majority of the borrowing that Biden even had to do in his admin was to fund these stupid fucking Trump tax cuts that Trump never paired with any spending cuts. I don't know if that 27% even includes that or if it's literally just including the... Can somebody link me where this... Is it literally just the money borrowed? I guess I should be able to look this up, right? U.S. Deficit by year, St. Louis, Fred, whatever the fuck.
Debt increased by president.
Federal surplus or deficit by year. Going back 10 years.
So Bush had a 72% change in the debt. Obama 64%. Trump in his first term 40%.
Jesus. Okay, hold on. Annual. Average sum? Should that make a difference? No, sum is what I want. I think. Okay, so so Trump would have been responsible for the spending through all of 2017 through 2021, right? Or no?
Yep.
2017
to 2019,
18, 19,
right?
20. Okay. So he borrowed, it would have been 680, this would be billion. And then 872 billion, 1 trillion, 3.4 trillion. So
3.4 trillion was for COVID, yeah?
Yeah. 4.3, 5.1 to 0.9. So this would be about 5.9, almost 6 trillion.
I got the number
that would be,
here.
Go ahead.
7.8 trillion. Here, look at this website.
Yeah, what are you showing me?
This is a really good way to see it. Scroll a little further.
Yeah, just saying the article was written. Okay, measure by comparing the national debt level when a president enters office to the level when a president leaves to calculate the percentage increase or decrease in debt during the presidency. The first year in office, though, aren't you technically, like, you're borrowing for, is it the last year's spending? Am I kind of correct in saying that, or?
I would assume so, because it's usually made by the last president, right?
I don't know how the fiscal years work out. Top 5 presidents who added to the national debt by percentage is FDR, Woodrow Wilson, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and then Barack Obama. National debt continues to rise under President Trump.
You missed the Keynote graph. I just sent it to you.
Wait, above?
Yeah, there it is.
Percentage change of the debt. Oh, sure. What does that mean? 7.8 trillion and the percentage change is 40%. So that means that it was so X times 0.4 is 7.8 and X would have been so our debt was
Previous
like,
debt?
like 17 trillion when Trump came into office his first term?
18, I think, but yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 19, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Obama ended his term with basically 20 trillion in debt, yeah.
Okay, 20 trillion in debt. And then
Trump in his first term did 8 trillion, and now, I mean, didn't you say he added like 3 trillion already?
No way, in 1 year? And then
Oh,
Biden
maybe.
spent
No.
8.5. I'm curious with that 27% number, how people calculated that. Fuck, I clicked an article yesterday and then I should have read through the whole thing.
Oh, you're saying like 27% of like the total debt we've ever had, or are you
Yes.
saying 27% of the current debt?
Well, that's the same thing, kind of. It's our debt, right?
Kind of, but debt got paid off at one point.
Sure, of our current debt, I guess.
Okay. Who was the last person to balance the budget?
Bill Clinton.
Bill?
Yeah.
Low job, Bill. Bubba.
The U.S. national debt soared past 39 trillion this week amid growing concerns. The figure published by the Bureau of Fiscal Service consists of over 31.3 trillion in public debt on top of the 7.6 trillion in intragovernmental holdings. There's also an article that I needed to read. Somebody linked an article. It was posted to Our Economics about how our real debt is actually like over like $100 trillion. And it sounds like a fucking like a retarded meme thing with like some shit you would see on ProPublica. But the argument made by the author was actually really compelling. It had to do with like how the CBO scores stuff out and that there are outstanding obligations the U.S. has that you could legitimately believe that. Oh, is it this? It was this.
Does the debt even fucking matter at this point?
Yes, I think it. Well, it'll at some point it will. It might be at this point. Who knows? We'll only know when it's too late.
Yeah, literally.
The U.S. national debt is nearly 39 trillion. One of the country's top fiscal economists says the real number is closer to 100 trillion, and that Washington's own accounting rules are designed to hide it. As is when depressed, the national debt clock stood at 38.92 trillion per Treasury data. According to Kent Smetters, faculty director of the Penn-Wharton budget model and one of the country's most respected fiscal economists, that 39 trillion number is a polite fiction. The real tab, he argues, is closer to 100 trillion. It has to do with the accounting distinction between explicit obligations, legally binding debts the government must repay, and implicit pay-as-you-go obligations, expected future spending commitments that carry moral or political but not legal force. What we call implicit obligations are twice the size of explicit obligations, Smetters told Fortune in a recent interview, referring to the unfunded liabilities buried inside programs like Social Security and Medicare. The U.S. government were required to report its finances under the same accounting rules as a publicly traded corporation. Smetters pointed out the debt to GDP ratio wouldn't be the current level of 100%, which is bad enough. We'd be reporting a debt to GDP ratio closer to 300%. The gap between those two numbers, he warned, is not a rounding error. It is the deliberate product of federal accounting standards designed to keep the full picture hidden from the public. A shell game, not a Ponzi scheme. Smetters is careful about the language he uses. Critics of Social Security have long compared the pay-as-you-go structure to a Ponzi scheme, in which early investors are paid with money from later ones. Smetters rejects that framing. It's not a Ponzi scheme, Smetters says. It's a shell game, insisting that the distinction matters. A Ponzi scheme implies fraud, but Social Security never promised a higher return than market returns. It's more of a shell game because Social Security and entitlement reforms can be moved obligations off book from explicit Treasury obligations to implicit pay-as-you-go liabilities because federal budget rules do not account for implicit liabilities. In 2001, Treasury Secretary Paul O'Neill attempted to explicitly book the value of pay-as-you-go liabilities, but several events later that year, including the 9/11 attacks and the Enron meltdown, shifted the focus toward more immediate challenges. The newer accounting framework was outlined in a 2003 book published by the American Enterprise Institute. In Washington's case, Smetters said that misdirection is written directly into federal law. His Beltway credentials include a stint as an economist at the Congressional Budget Office and as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Economic Policy at the U.S. Treasury. And PWBM is widely used in Washington, D.C. to analyze the fiscal and macroeconomic effects of federal policy proposals. So he knows what he's talking about when he rattles off from memory. Accounting legislation from 1985 is the origin of this shell game. By statute, Smetters pointed out, the CBO is required to analyze Social Security on what's known as a scheduled benefits basis, meaning its models assume the program will pay out full promised benefits indefinitely, even after the trust fund is completely exhausted. The problem, of course, is that current law also requires benefits to be automatically slashed the moment the fund runs dry, while the CBO is legally barred from modeling that reality. This accounting quirk has enormous political consequences. It allows lawmakers to craft Social Security reform bills that appear on paper to close the program's long-term funding gap, while actually doing nothing of the sort. Smetters points to the Social Security 2100 Act as a prime example. The bill was widely celebrated for eliminating the program's 75-year actuarial shortfall. In reality, he argued, it actually worsened the long-term picture by increasing implicit debt by more than $1 for every $1 of reduction in explicit debt. Smetters said he believes this was an unintentional effect. It can just happen when working with an incomplete accounting framework that focuses on explicit federal debt. This bill simply shifted costs from the explicit ledger, where they show up in official debt projections, to the implicit ledger, where they vanish from public view entirely. They reduced these explicit liabilities, but it actually increased implicit liabilities by even more. And so instead of helping future generations, instead of incentivizing saving and labor, it ultimately, in the end, did the opposite. Handcuffed accounting. As a longtime budget watcher, Smetters attributed the issue to something almost mystical in the gears of government, remnants of legislation that remain even as Congress keeps writing new bills to supposedly correct the errors from previous regimes. In particular, he pointed to powerful remnants rooted in the 1985 Graham-Rudman-Hollings Balanced Budget Act, which effectively prevent the agency from projecting discretionary spending to grow faster than inflation over the budget window. During his own 3-year tenure at CBO, Smetters claimed staff recognized this constraint as unrealistic and effectively required CBO to consistently produce debt projections that were too optimistic. One of the things that's left over from Graham-Rudman-Hollings, Smetters explained, is that CBO, by law, is not allowed to grow discretionary spending faster than inflation over the next decade. Over the budget window. And if you ask them, does this modeling make sense? They'll be the first to say no, this absolutely makes no sense. In practice, this means the CBO long-range models have a structural problem built into them. They constantly underestimate the growth in the debt, Smetters said. Congress passed the 1985 law in a moment of genuine fiscal panic. Deficits had exploded during the early Reagan years, and lawmakers, desperate for a mechanism to enforce discipline, created a statutory framework that required automatic spending cuts, sequestration, whenever the deficit exceeded preset targets. To make that system work, the law needed a standardized apples-to-apples definition of what counted as a deficit, so Section 257 codified the rules governing CBO's official budget baseline. The political logic was straightforward. By locking in assumptions about what programs were supposed to spend, Congress could measure any new legislation against a fixed ruler. The agency also faces restrictions on dynamic scoring, the practice of modeling how a policy change ripples through the broader economy, for any measure that affects fewer than 1 million people. This is a pretty nutty one too, Smetters said. The blinds budget analysts to hundreds of billions of dollars in potential tax revenue generated by high-skilled immigrants over their lifetimes, he explained. Oh, this blinds budget analyst to hundreds of billions of dollars in potential tax revenue generated by high-skilled immigrants over their lifetimes, he explained. Even high-skilled STEM workers who pay much more in taxes than they receive in benefits are scored as losing the government money on average, he explained, pointing to a 2024 analysis of this published by PWBM from former CBO director Douglas Elmendorf and MacArthur Genius Grant awardee Heidi Williams. Setting aside the politics, Smetters argued, the economics suffer. Suppose that we were to shift immigration away from low-skilled to high-skilled workers, even though we know those high-skilled STEM workers, for example, they're going to pay a lot more taxes. CBO is not allowed to account for that. The result is a federal budgeting apparatus that, through an accumulation of outdated rules and political compromises, consistently produces rosier projections than reality warrants. 6 years to a Social Security reckoning. For Social Security specifically, the law directed CBO to assume that scheduled benefits would be paid in full indefinitely. It was a conservative modeling choice at the time because the trust fund was healthy following the 1983 reforms. What nobody fully reckoned with was that this assumption would become permanently embedded in law, transforming what was meant as a neutral accounting convention into a tool that could make structurally insolvent legislation appear fiscally responsible on paper. At one time, according to Smetters, there simply wasn't a budget problem in the United States because there wasn't an automatic stabilizer, like in the Graham-Redmond-Hollings legislation, to keep benefits from growing at the same rate. If you just look at the data, he added, discretionary spending clearly grows with the size of the economy. I mean, it grows clearly faster than inflation, but it can't do that by law. Graham-Redmond-Hollings was never explicitly, or Hollings was never explicitly overturned, just parts of it bit by bit. And so CBO just is not allowed to grow discretionary spending faster than inflation. The stakes of these accounting games are about to become very real. The Social Security Trust Fund, which covers old age and survivors insurance, is now projected to be depleted by 2032, 1 year earlier than the CBO estimated just months ago, a provision driven in part by recent tax legislation. When that happens, the program is legally required to cut benefits to whatever level incoming payroll taxes can support, a figure currently estimated at roughly 84% of the scheduled payments. Tens of millions of retirees would face automatic cuts with no congressional action required to trigger them. That looming deadline should be forcing urgent reform debates in Washington. Instead, Smetters said, turning inwardly critical, although he said he doesn't believe PWBM is a bad offender in this regard. Years of alarmist rhetoric about crisis from think tanks and budget hawks have left lawmakers cynical and disengaged. They're kind of tired of the boy who cries wolf, he says. They've been saying the sky's falling for the longest time, but the sky hasn't exactly fallen yet, he said, likening it to predictions that the world was supposed to be underwater by now. That's a dangerous approach, he said, adding that what really needs to be done is really serious, thoughtful discussion of modeling and explaining to people. That fatigue is dangerous because time is the one resource that fiscal reformers are rapidly running out of. The longer Congress waits, Smetters warned, the narrower the range of available solutions becomes. A structural fix implemented today could be spread gradually across generations. Modest adjustments to the retirement age, phased benefit recalibrations, incremental revenue increases. A fix implemented in 2031 under pressure of imminent insolvency will look very different. A steep, sudden, and politically brutal, think a steep tax hike rather than a gradual structural adjustment. Last part. Underlying all of it, Smetters argued, is an epistemic failure in how Washington evaluates fiscal policy. The simplified models and politically convenient scoring rules that dominate budget debates don't just misrepresent the debt, they actively mislead the policymakers who are supposed to fix it. The Treasury's own financial report of the United States government puts the 75-year unfunded shortfall at $73.2 trillion, driven entirely by Social Security and Medicare. The reason the distinction matters is compounding urgency. The longer these implicit liabilities remain off the official ledger, the less pressure lawmakers feel to address them, while the actual cost of closing the gap grows larger each year. The CBO already projects that deficits will hit $1.9 trillion in fiscal year 2026. That's crazy. And balloon to $3.1 trillion by 2036 under current law. And that projection still assumes Social Security pays full benefits even after the trust fund is projected to run dry around 2032, obscuring just how much worse the trajectory actually is. Without transparent, micro-funded economic models that capture the true generational transfer of costs, he warns, lawmakers will keep falling for proposals that shuffle liabilities from one column to another without changing anything fundamental. They're just going to get duped into simplistic solutions that really don't do much, he said. The United States is not, Smetters insisted, on the verge of imminent collapse. The debt is manageable in theory, but the window for a manageable solution is closing, and the accounting rules that were supposed to help Washington navigate a path forward are, by design, pointing in the wrong direction. Damn.
Sheesh.
By the way, hell is freezing over. Conservatives on r/conservative defending Biden on gas price and attacking Trump. You've overemphasized how bad American media is over and over again. Simultaneously, you have downplayed people's attacks on billionaires and wealth inequality. These things are connected. What do you mean downplayed people's attacks on? As in, I'm saying that they're not attacking them as much as they are, or that I think those attacks should be more serious, or... I think I don't fully understand what's being talked about here, but I think that what's being talked about here is the idea that Social Security, like let's assume this is the amount of money you have to spend to fund your government. Like, this is how it's accounted for ordinarily. And then let's assume that this is like how much money you need to fund Social Security. I think what the article is saying is that if you look at how Social Security gets paid into and you look at how Social Security pays out, that in 2032, right here, there's going to be a shortfall in how much money is available for Social Security. But that this shortfall for where the additional funding would have to come from is not accounted for in ordinary budget projections. And as soon as we run into this, we're obviously going to have to do something about it because it's going to be hugely unpopular to just slash Social Security benefits by 15%. And so we're going to have to start borrowing a ton more money to pay for this thing that no budget projection is currently accounting for, because they just don't account for things like that and the way that we do budget projections for Congress, for the way the CBO models stuff, which would obviously be bad. Peter Miller.
Isn't it kind of retarded that somebody who, I don't know, has like $20 million in the bank still gets Social Security?
Maybe.
I don't know how much it would matter, I guess, in the long run. Like, I don't know how much are we actually losing by all of these people with money getting Social Security? I don't know if it's like a number that should even be worried about or what, but
people really don't like means testing, or at least
it's retarded.
The economy people on the left don't like me. I don't know. Probably, I feel like a couple things you could do to help Social Security is you could, man, I don't know.
Take off the max amount that people have to pay in taxes for it?
Well, you would slowly raise the cap. You wouldn't just take off the max amount, because that'd be a huge, massive tax increase out of nowhere. But you could definitely,
I mean, we need, the United States needs in tax increases.
Yeah, I think you could. I think you could lift that Social Security tax. Somebody says it stops at $400K a year. Is that true? I thought it was like 170.
I thought it was like 200K.
How much income Social Security tax applied to? Is 176K right now. Like, I think you could lift that to 200 or 250. Should you phase out benefits? The thing is, Social Security is like a thing you pay into, and people feel like they're entitled to it when they retire. It would feel weird to pay into a thing that you're guaranteed in retirement, but then you don't get it when you're retired.
Sure, it's just a tax, though. At that point, you just got taxed higher.
I guess. I don't know.
Someone, ASOS linked a thing and said means testing would only save like 2%.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I think raising the cap on how much of your income it applies to. I don't even know how many earners actually are over 176K. What is the top 1%
Probably
income?
not many.
Actually, yeah, that might not even help that much. Top 1% income, U.S.
Oh,
is 730 to 800K. I wonder what for top 5%.
What's top 10%? Top 10% is 210K.
Jesus, you motherfuckers are making way too much money.
Okay, wait, hold on.
We need to go back to poverty time.
Any gifters?
What the fuck?
Wait,
you
what
guys
the hell?
are spoiled.
Top 20% is 130K to 150.
Yeah, I'm seeing top quintile, which is 20 is, yeah, I see 117 in 2022. Okay, maybe that would raise.
Man, that seems like it'd raise a good amount of money.
An okay chunk of change.
Where's Doge? They could have done this, right?
Yeah, the other thing that people really don't like to hear, but raising the retirement age is another thing you could do.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. What is it right now? 62?
I thought it was 65. Age for full Social Security benefits.
What do you want to raise it to? 67?
Good one. Oh, it is 67.
Oh!
But this is like, yeah, political suicide.
I mean, that's pretty high. No? Already?
Yeah, people don't like that. Well, but we also live longer now, too.
We are, but
motherfuckers, you need to work more. What are you retiring at 67
for?
for?
Average person live? The average person lives to 72.
Wait, in the U.S.?
In the USA. I didn't type.
Yeah, it's got to be like 78 or something, no?
78.4.
Okay.
So they get some, what, 11 years?
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
All right, raise it to 70, fuck it.
Hell yeah. Make it race bait. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Get to work.
Peter and Avi are fighting. Uh-oh. Additional government spending is deficit spending spread across the population, hence the analogy. Did you seriously triggers like cast you as a borrower? Frame my support for a war to merely blowing up kids. Okay.
True. How hard is it to prompt?
Prompt what?
Well, if we raise the age, they're just going to need to prompt harder for more years.
Bro. Oh, there's a fact check on this. In a tweet on January 17th, former Republican Congressman turned MSNBC contributor David Jolly claimed that around a quarter of the country's $31 trillion national debt occurred while Trump was president. Oh, this is 3 years ago. Lay epic pandemics. Needs context. True enough. Okay, I'll take it. Uh-oh. In a sudden turn of events, U.S. 12-month inflation expectations have surged to 5.2%, the highest level since March 2023.
Problem?
Oh, shit. I understand all of it now. Trump is just trying to get those rate cuts.
Inflation go up means rate cuts don't happen, right? Or is it the other way around?
Rate cuts do happen. Basically think of the lower the rates go, the easier it is to borrow money. So if you borrow money easier, you spend money more, usually pushes prices up. When inflation goes up, when inflation goes up, you usually want rates to go up because you want to slow down the velocity of money through the economy. I don't remember what you initially asked me, but if the inflation is getting higher, usually the Fed wants to increase the interest rate. If the inflation rate is lower,
so then Trump is going to be pissed off then because the interest rate might get increased and he wants it to go down.
Yeah, correct. So never mind that. What he referred around that didn't make sense. I don't know. He's just fucked. I'm trying to find something for him. Okay.
It's all right, man. You try your best.
The Federal Reserve has two mandates, though. It's for unemployment and it's for inflation. And if you have inflation so generally, if inflation is getting higher, you want to increase rates to slow down the money through the economy. If inflation is getting lower, then you can loosen up on rates so that more money can flow through the economy. And for unemployment, if unemployment is getting higher, usually you want to lower rates to get more money flowing, increase demand, keep workers hired. But if unemployment is going, what did I just say? If unemployment goes down, wait, I might have mixed up unemployment with employment. If unemployment is going up, so more people are unemployed, as unemployment goes up, you want rates to go down. As unemployment goes down, you want rates to go up. Yes. So you have to balance these things together. Yeah. The big fear, hopefully these things are moving opposite one another when employment, because what you don't want to happen ever, there's a thing called, this concept is like stagflation or whatever. If you have it so that your inflation is increasing, but your unemployment is increasing as well, you're in a rough spot for your economy because the Federal Reserve looks at the increase in inflation, things are getting more expensive, which makes them want to increase interest rates. But if unemployment is going up and more people are losing their jobs, if you increase your interest rates, it tends to slow down money in the economy, which would hurt people who are unemployed by making even more people unemployed. So when those things start moving in tandem with each other, you're in a very scary spot.
Isn't this precisely what's happening in the U.S. right now, then?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. But our
unemployment... They released job growth numbers, and they were fucked.
Yeah. The unemployment, though, I think natural rate of unemployment you usually shoot for in an economy is about 5%. And it's been low for quite a while. So it can, like, there's a bit of wiggle room on that. I don't know where we're at right now, though.
U.S. unemployment.
I think it's still below 5.
4.4%?
Yeah, so technically we still have wiggle room there.
But if it keeps getting worse and worse, then the U.S. is in, like, a real fuck spot.
If both of those, if they move in tandem, yeah, that would be bad.
What's up, Metalloid?
Yo.
Howdy.
Right, if you want to ask any questions. If not, I'll just take quiet.
Well, if I was going to ask you questions, wouldn't I just ask you if I see you in fucking chat, you fucking cuck?
No, because you hate me. That's right, because I'm a retard.
That's true.
You're right, though, Muton, with your general framework.
Okay. Give me the well, actually.
So I logged to Destiny, then.
Also, I have a show that I'm doing in literally 3 minutes, so I'm about to ditch.
Well, it's just that like the situation in America is kind of fucked with Trump's deportations because he kind of makes it very hard for the Fed to do their dual mandate because they even talk about this, but I mean everyone knows it. Is that like if you're exploiting loads of people and you've got like a zero kind of default like job growth number, so it's like zero, literally that's the equilibrium, then if they hike because of inflation is going up, which is going to happen because of this stuff, they're also risking unemployment. They don't know how strong the economy is because like having zero equilibrium makes it incredibly hard to deal with. So like yeah, I wouldn't say we're in stagflation yet. I mean, some people think we've already been in stagflation the last like 4 or 5 years since COVID because we've had like higher than average inflation than we want, and also you know, we've had growth, but like inflation's been going up and employment's been going up as well, or up and down. But it's never usually like one direction.
Sure. When you say there's no equilibrium, do you mean because we're like doing so many different things at once that it's hard to know where anything's going to?
Oh, when I said the equilibrium, I mean specifically just for job growth.
Gotcha. Wait, was it true that Jay Powell said that there have been essentially no new jobs created in the past 6 months? Is that?
I think I was probably referring to revisions, but those, it's really, I would never really look at that sort of stuff. Revisions can, lots of people saw it, but it's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't really matter because it's like, it has no bearing on like the Fed's policy, for example, and it like they say that they're backward dated, but they're not gonna, like if it's really obvious, like that there is some level of employment in the like because you'll see it in demand, right? Like you'll see it in like personal expansion, consumer expenditures and stuff like that. So it's even though the revisions can come and there can be like a really bad report like last time we've talked about, it's not worth it. Like the employment, the labor industry can be really weird, like short term, like 6 months.
Okay. Any final thoughts for my last minute here?
No.
Damn. Okay.
Say gotcha.
Gotcha. I'll be back in like 30 minutes, okay?
All right, I'll be chilling.
Fuck you. Don't eat your plant. I gotta turn this down in advance because it's gonna be fucking loud. Test. My mic works here. Okay.
Jews celebrating Diwali. When I see Jews,
you got to get out there and vote in the midterms. You got to get out there and vote, and you have to make sure that we never get a MAGA Republican back into the White House ever again. So obviously joining us right now, somebody that has a huge platform. He's one of the largest live streamers on the planet, and certainly I have a lot of respect for him, and I always like picking his brain a little bit. And we're also going to be out there at Arizona State, flying out there on Sunday to have some good spirited debates. And I'm looking forward to joining me. And he joins us right now on the program, known as Destiny. Destiny, it's good to see you, my friend. I appreciate you coming back on the show with me. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for coming on. So much to get to with you because so much has transpired since last time you and I spoke about this. I mean, we've heard like 5 or 6 different reasons as to why we went to war in Iran. And while you and I might disagree a little bit on Israel and the Israeli government, and maybe we can get into that a little bit, what do you make of all the excuses from Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump? First, it's regime change. Then the civilians need to rise up. Then after we learn that, Marco Rubio, in a sense, says that Israel forced our hand. Then it's about nuclear capabilities. When we were told we obliterated them eight months ago, it's excuse after excuse after excuse. What do you make of this?
It's very hard to have a theory of mind for the current administration on a lot of things. My feeling right now is that Netanyahu told Trump that if he got rid of the Ayatollah, it would be like a great American president achievement, and he would be super cool, and it would help everybody. And Trump was like, okay, cool, let's go. As stupid as it is, that's just kind of my take on it. I can't think of any other. I don't know what else is going on. I can't.
I hear you, but let me give you a theory, because Lev Parnas brought this up to me a few weeks ago, and it makes sense now. I mean, the two people that have benefited most from this, I would start with Vladimir Putin. When you look at the amount of money that they are making because of the oil reserves and this situation, Vladimir Putin has benefited a great deal from this. I think you would agree with me on that. And I think Benjamin Netanyahu has certainly benefited from this as well. But let's start with Putin. Would you agree with me that this war so far, at least, has been very beneficial to him financially?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard this a lot, and I'm going out on a limb here because I don't hear other people do this analysis much, so I could be totally wrong. But like it's going to help in the short term in terms of being able to sell energy at higher prices, for sure. Yeah. But in the long term, man, poor Vlad has lost a lot of friends in the Middle East, right? Like Assad is gone. That was a very close friend to Russia. And now the Ayatollah, I guess, is gone, or whatever parts of it keep coming up, keep disappearing. So with Iran and with Syria out of the picture for Russia, does Russia even have, do they have any foothold in the Middle East at all anymore? Or is that region now just completely abandoned to I guess, the West now, whatever the West is or will be, after this regime change happens or doesn't happen or whatever? I don't know what's going to end there. Yeah.
What do you make, though, of the reports that came out that, and even the White House has pretty much admitted this, that Putin and his regime have shared intelligence with Iran, putting our troops in harm's way, and Donald Trump pretty much shrugs his shoulders. Oh, well, he shouldn't do that. I'll talk to him. I mean, what do you make of that? Because that's already been confirmed.
I mean, as the U.S. president, as the leader of your country, you're not supposed to say that. But I mean, that realistically, this is kind of what happens. You're going to be intelligence sharing with allies, even if it puts U.S. troops in harm's way. That's always going to be the case. But there's supposed to be a public song and dance about that, where Trump is supposed to chide Putin and say something or do something or whatever. But I mean, like I think that's kind of to be expected. Yeah, it's not like Russia can help out much in many other ways right now. So yeah.
That's true. I mean, did it surprise you, this guy stepping down, his resignation, basically saying that Iran is not an imminent threat, which obviously I agree with. I would imagine you would as well. Did that surprise you at all that he did this? Because this is a guy who is a huge Trump guy. He's got white supremacist tendencies and a history. He's anti-Semitic comments he's made. This is a crazy lunatic. But did it surprise you that he stepped down and made that statement public?
Are you talking about the Joe Kent?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. You asked me these questions. Does it surprise me? I don't know if anything would surprise me at this point. Trump could threaten to use a nuclear bomb right now, and is it surprising? There are different factions. One of the games that you play, one of the deals with the devil you make when you have such a wide tent of different people, as long as they all support Trump, is you get a lot of different ideas floating around that are mutually exclusive ideas. So like Tulsi Gabbard and other people who ended up joining this new right-wing movement were quite isolationist in nature. So when Trump said, "I'm the president of no new wars," you've got the voter base that'll go along with him on almost anything. But the ideological people, or the ideologically driven people that are part of his cabinet or part of his new team, not all of them are willing to go along in that direction. So it doesn't surprise me that he's picked up people that have strong disagreements with him. I feel like Tulsi Gabbard is another one who doesn't want war with Iran and doesn't want the United States blowing everybody up and kidnapping everybody. So it's not the most surprising thing in the world. Yeah.
What did you make of Tulsi Gabbard's testimony? Because she obviously wants to toe the line. She doesn't want to upset dear leader Trump, but at the same time, she eluded certain questions, and she was obviously not willing to say under oath that Iran is or was an imminent threat. Very similar to the words that she used 10 months ago before we bombed them. What did you make of that testimony?
So I haven't watched the full thing yet, but I've seen a couple 10-minute, like I watched Ossoff's questioning of her. And my impression from that was that Tulsi was completely and totally throwing the White House under the bus. It sounded like the way that she was answering was because, I try to point this out to my audience. It's not so much what she says, it's what she doesn't say. We've watched enough of these congressional hearings now. When somebody asks you a question, right? Can you imagine if Pam Bondi is there and, Ossoff asks, well, didn't you guys say that you completely obliterated Iran's nuclear stockpile? Like if Bondi is answering that question, she's scrambling to pivot and diverge. Like, well, we said we blew it up, but, there's always a little bit left and you don't know, they could rebuild and, maybe they've still got this hidden and it's essential. But Tulsi was incredibly forthcoming and very short on every answer she gave and right to the point. Yes, we blew it all up. Yes. Did we destroy everything? Yes. Did we obliterate their capabilities? Yes. And it was very short on everything. And then when it came time for the question where everybody's trying to crucify Tulsi on this, and I'm all in favor of crucifying Tulsi and on anything, but when Ossoff is asking her, well, who determines if it's an imminent threat? This is the job, obviously, of the intelligence community. But for her to say, oh, that's left to the big guy in the White House, is she's basically completely throwing the responsibility of initiating this war solely on Donald Trump, which I think is a really big deal. Yeah.
I didn't really think of it like that. And you're actually right. She put the responsibility on Trump. She's basically saying, hey, here's our intelligence. Here's what we were told. But it's up to the president to decide. So You're right about that. Let's talk a little bit about gas prices.
I don't want to say real quick on that too, because I listened to that also thing, and I'm right after we finish the show, I'm going to listen to this whole thing because I now really want to hear everything she said. The FBI stuff with Fulton County was really crazy too. One thing that I'm kind of familiar with over the J6 stuff is you don't really have to say, it seems like you don't have to say much, especially in front of Congress, about your communications with the president. They always exert this I have executive privilege and blah, 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 blah. Tulsi Gabbard was like, he told me to fly out to supervise that the same day the warrant was served. I was there because the president told me to be there. He commanded it. He told me, he said on his own for me to go. That's pretty crazy. She's throwing a lot of weight and a lot of sole responsibility onto Trump there to make it seem like he did not have the support of the intelligence community or anybody else behind him when he was making these decisions, which is, in my opinion, is a pretty big deal.
Agree. And in that testimony, she was asked, well, were you a part of this investigation? Because they talked about why they were there. And it appears that the only reason why they were there was conspiracy theories, all these conspiracy theories that were unproven. They shouldn't have even been there. Yeah. And then her response was, well, I was just there to observe. I wasn't what do you mean you were there to observe? Who asked you to do that? Well, Donald Trump asked me to do that. Well, why? Why did he ask you to do that? Why were you there? You're not supposed to be there. The whole thing is so absurd, and you'll watch the rest of it, but it is mesmerizing. Let's talk a little bit about gas prices. Destiny, I use the term hypocrisy a lot with these MAGA Republicans. So as you know, during the Joe Biden administration, we got into this, well, we didn't, but Putin invades Ukraine, new war, that affects gas prices. We're coming out of a global pandemic, but everybody on the right blamed Joe Biden for gas prices. By the way, Joe Biden didn't start the pandemic, and Joe Biden didn't start a war with Ukraine. Donald Trump started a war with Iran. You see what's happening to these gas prices now. This was a choice that Donald Trump made with no contingency plan, nothing. And then I hear from these MAGA Republicans and elected officials, well, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. Be a patriot. That moron, Michelle Tafoya, yesterday said it's patriotic to spend $5 a gallon for gas. Are you kidding me? My head's going to explode. What do you make of the hypocrisy? And if somebody in the Biden administration made a statement like that?
I mean, it's funny that you say they didn't have a contingency plan for the Iran stuff. They didn't have a plan. I don't think they had any plans at all. Like the idea, I don't know, man. I can't believe that they would, be mining up the Strait of Hormuz and they'd be attacking other players in the region when we're trying to do an existential regime change on the entire country. I can't believe that they would be fighting back. It's like, what do you think is going to happen? I don't think when it comes to it's just the level of salience of gasoline prices is too high. You drive to buy gas stations every day. You go and you fill your tank up. You see the gas price go up. There's no way that you can obfuscate that to the American public. I don't think that even his fan base of supporters will bear that for months and months, let alone the moderates or the Republicans that aren't fully bought into MAGA, let alone those people that you would need to sustain any of your electoral viabilities. We're talking about the Senate. The poly market odds might have switched, actually. Is it in favor now for the Democrats to win the Senate? Or if not, it was 50-50 last I checked.
I think they might have a slight edge.
Geez, how much of you were messing up real bad at that point? This wasn't even supposed to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know, you remember the moment where Donald Trump was wearing his baseball cap that he's selling on his website for $55 when these brave men and women, sadly, are coming home in caskets. And then he actually tried to fundraise off of that. Well, he didn't try. He did. He fundraised off of a dead soldier. And you recall, again, hypocrisy, when Joe Biden looked at his watch for a half a second, right? A half a second when this, and by the way, he would look at his watch. That was like almost like a nervous tick. Like he did that everywhere. And MAGA Republicans still talk about that moment. And then Fox News shows old footage of Donald Trump, not at that ceremony, or for lack of a better term. What do you make of that? He wears a hat because he doesn't want his hair to go all over the place when it's windy outside. But yet MAGA Republicans aren't, again, they're not talking about that. They don't think it's a big deal, even though Fox News tried to hide it. And they still talk about a half a second when Biden looked at his watch.
I mean, there's obviously there's no decorum on the Republican side at all. These people are ghoulish. There's nothing more to be said about that. I mean, Biden has a family, children that served in the military. Am I making this up, or was the theory that, is it Bo Burnham that did I just say Bo Burnham? Can you edit that out? I'm sorry. That was it. Bo Biden was the idea that he might have died because of exposure to burn pits or something. Or my memory's
that's exactly no. So that's exactly what happened.
Okay, yeah, and also keep in mind, Trump is a draft dodger. Right? Trump is a draft dodger. And so the idea that, and also keep in mind that at this point, more American soldiers have died in Iran than died in that Afghanistan pullout. And I've heard about that for years. Where are our Benghazi hearings for Donald Trump, for any of the... This guy just like moonwalks from one scandalous day to the next. And yeah, like I think you said at the beginning of this convo, like, wow, we haven't spoken in a while and so much has happened. When you say we haven't spoken in a while, we could just not speak for 7 days and so much would happen. I don't even know if the last time I spoke to you, if Maduro had been captured or deposed yet. I'm not sure how long, it's just everything. It's just, man, it's just so much.
Yeah, and you're right. Bo Biden died. He had brain cancer, and there are other soldiers, sadly, from those burn pits. And then Joe Biden is accused of saying that he died service, and they attack him for that when it's obviously that's been proven. And you're right. Donald Trump is a 5-time draft dodger, suckers and losers. I don't respect John McCain because he was captured. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I have to ask you a little bit about Mark Wayne Mullen.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. The guy that went on the ultra super duper secret mission that's so ultra duper super secret that nobody can know who even made it ultra super duper secret. That Paul had said that they had asked like the CIA, the FBI, and everybody. Nobody has a record of this ultra super duper hyper secret mission.
I know, and he was asked about that too. What an idiot. So first of all, here's a guy, as you know, who took over his father's plumbing business. And I have respect for blue collar workers and plumbers. I'm not attacking them. But is this the guy you want to hear talk about foreign policy? I mean, it's just the guy who helped make sure that your toilet flushes. I'm just saying, okay, I'm just going to throw that out there, number one. And number two, this is the guy who challenged somebody to a physical altercation in the House chambers. This is a guy who has been hit in the head way too many times. I actually think that he is more of a threat leading DHS if he's appointed than Kristi Noem was, and she was a complete disaster.
This might be an unpopular take. I think he's more qualified than Kristi Noem, but I will never get over her being asked what habeas corpus was and not having an answer to that. That's unbelievable to me. The head of DHS just not having an answer to that. He seemed to at least know like the basic law, the process and procedure more. I've heard it said, I don't know if this is true or not, that he's the only member of Congress that hasn't graduated college. So education level might not be the best there, but I'm all in favor of Democrats, mucking up as much as they can the nomination process or doing whatever they can to slow this administration down. But I would say that the big problem with DHS is probably not Kristi Noem. It's not going to be Mullen. It's going to be the directives coming down from the president. So it's not like there's a good person they're going to nominate for that, because no matter who they put there, they're going to want them to carry out their completely and totally unhinged mission for everything.
Yeah.
Thank God, though, we have brave souls like Fetterman to make sure that he gets out of committee, though. Thank you. Wow.
What do you make? Let me ask you about him for a minute, because Destiny, as you recall, when he had a stroke, I, like many others, were defending him when people on the right were calling him a vegetable. I did not know a lot about him. As I've learned more about him over the years, here's a guy who never really had a real job in his life. He comes from a very wealthy family. He looks like a blue-collar worker. He's not. He became mayor, and he has this stroke. The guy has zero work ethic. He dresses like a slob. I thought I dressed like a slob. The guy dresses like a slob. And I didn't know strokes turned you into right-wing radical MAGA Republicans. But what the hell, I guess my question is, what the hell has happened to this guy? Or was he always like this?
I can't speak to that either. I have no idea. I feel like you could put this guy in like into a classroom with a bunch of psych students and do like a split brain experiment on him, and when they go to test the other side of the brain, he just dies because it's just not there. Like, this guy is phenomenal to me. Like, I spoke about this earlier. Like, for Manchin and Sinema, like, these are people who these were essential swing votes in highly contentious or completely lost to the Senate, like West Virginia. There's no other Democrat going there besides Manchin. Like, you need these people. And so they had a lot of political capital as a result of that. But like Fetterman, senator from Pennsylvania, like, I know it's a contentious area, but like, this guy is, and Fetterman's not even it's not like the Republicans just need his one vote in the entire Senate, and so he's like so politically important. He just he hates on Democrats for the love of the game. How do you get this guy walking around saying like Trump derangement syndrome, or like, I'm the only Democrat that wants to fund DHS, and I think I'm the only Democrat that doesn't want open borders? And it's like, oh my God, bro, you're like, your skull is literally open right now. Like, come on.
It seems like he's on Fox News every day. Like,
Yeah.
that's his job. He just makes his appearances on Fox News, and they love him. Fox News and right-wing media love him because then he'll attack Democrats, and they eat that alive.
He's the new era's like Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr.
Yeah.
When you ask a Joe Rogan type, like, do you like anybody on the left? And they're like, of course I do. I've got lots of leftist friends. Like John Fetterman is like, he's one of those types of people.
Yeah, he is one of those people. You're right about that. I do want to ask you about the SAVE Act. Now, as you know, that there are a lot of Republicans out there that are claiming, this bill is all about voter ID. Now, as you know, there's a lot of other areas in the SAVE Act. It's not just about that. But I get into these debates and arguments, for lack of a better term, with MAGA Republicans, and I always ask them the same question: how many undocumented immigrants have voted in the last 10 or 15 years? And as you know, Turning Point even put out these statistics. Less than 100 undocumented immigrants have been proven to have voted illegally in the last decade. This is not an issue. Why have MAGA Republicans made this an issue?
I mean, because the broad, this is a Mott and Bailey in a way, like the easily defensible position is some kind of ID required to vote is probably okay. There are a lot of countries that do it. Like, if we had an ID that was easily accessible, that, did discriminate against certain types of people, that didn't have like a 7-week waiting period to get or whatever, I could be on board with this. I almost think that Democrats should try to compromise with this and asking for something big in the future. Like, we're going to do a national ID so that we can have voter ID or whatever. I'd almost be okay with that. But like, these requirements of like, if your name is different than your birth certificate, you've got to bring along first of all, how many people have their birth certificate? That you have to bring along some other form of identification. So every married woman, Hispanic people that for whatever reason hyphenate 50 million last names, like all these people are going to have all these different, it's obviously there just to throw up roadblocks to get certain types of people not to vote. And I think any good faith actor, when they look at it, can see that that's exactly what's going on. And this isn't even touching the whole, which I never want to hear for the rest of my life, the whole states' rights issues of states have the right to determine how they do their voting place, time, manner, and place, and all this. This is up to the states to figure out. The idea that they'd be okay with the federal government coming in, and now Republicans are like, well, yeah, the federal government can dictate to us everything for how we register our voters, and we'll give our voter rolls to them, and we'll let ICE come in and bully people. That's also ridiculous to me. But I guess states' rights only matter when it's things that you either agree with or things that don't matter, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I just wanted to ask you about this because it does appear as though there's a lot of infighting, as you know, these days between MAGA. For example, Megyn Kelly saying that Mark Levin has a mushroom penis, and then you have the Groypers, and you have people that are anti-Iran war, pro-Iran war, and then you have the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world and others. What do you make of that, and what do you make of where the Republican Party is at right now? Because at least in my estimation, the war certainly hasn't helped. They seem to be very divided on a number of different issues.
I've said the writing's been on the wall for this for a few years since the election, and then the writing. I think if you're paying attention, right, it's a cult. And when I say it's a cult, what I mean is it really is centered on Donald Trump himself. Like, it is the Donald Trump movement. So everybody knows that when Donald Trump recedes, there's going to be this huge vacuum. And because it's a cult, because it's built around Donald Trump, you're not here because you have like a consistent set of principles or values, right? We can talk about hypocrisy literally all day. We can talk about one of the largest kinds of new tax expanses ever has been a tariff that Republicans all championed, or the Donald Trump ban bump stocks for gun reform. We can go thing after thing after thing. All the massive new debt that I think the DOD is begging for another $200 billion, which I don't know why we need, because I thought Trump said that he rebuilt the whole military in his first term, but maybe Biden destroyed it in one term. I don't know. That's why we need peace in the Middle East for the 5th time, I guess, because everybody keeps ruining it. Just when you have a coalition of people brought together like this that don't have a common shared principle foundation, then makes sense that as soon as the leader starts to recede, now everybody's individual ideologies are starting to show, and you've got people with a huge set of disagreements with each other over policy, over ideology, over American ideas and everything else. So yeah, it seems pretty natural that this would happen.
So I think we pretty much agree on, for the most part, everything that we've discussed. We might disagree on this. I am pro-Israel, Destiny. I am, in a sense, anti-Israeli government. And I think Benjamin Netanyahu is corrupt. And I think he does what's good for Benjamin Netanyahu, maybe not always what's good for his people. And I don't believe we would be in a war in Iran right now if not for Benjamin Netanyahu using Donald Trump as his puppet. I really do believe that. I don't think Netanyahu's done a good job protecting his people. He certainly didn't during those Hamas attacks. I don't put all the responsibility on him. But I look back to the war in Iraq when we were told weapons of mass destruction under the George W. Bush administration. A part of that, quote unquote, faulty intelligence was from the Israeli government as well. I am anti-Israeli government. I am pro-Israel. Israeli people are wonderful people. I want them to be free. I want them to be safe. You won't see me crying for the Ayatollah. You won't see me feeling bad for what was an evil regime. But the problem is now there's another evil regime in there. I don't know. I'm just not a very pro Benjamin Netanyahu guy. I think he has a lot of characteristics very similar to Donald Trump. That's my personal opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
I hate talking about the Middle East ever. I hate anything having to do with the Middle East because it hijacks so much of our discourse in the United States. I hated a lot of the ultra rabid pro-Palestinian far left people because a lot of the criticisms and things that they talk about when it comes to Israel are just not quite true, and a lot of the criticisms that they give to U.S. leadership is not quite true. So Israel historically, like the thing that people need to understand about the country of Israel is that if a guy walked into a room with a huge delicious Kit Kat bar, like the country of Israel is not going to walk up to the dude and beat him up to take the candy bar. But if the guy goes to the bathroom, they will absolutely sneak and take the candy bar and eat it all before he gets back. Israel is like very opportunistic in that way, and that if they see an opportunity, then they'll take it. And holy Jesus, Arabs in the region will never falter when it comes to giving Israel opportunities to do crazy things. One thing that people don't realize was how much restraint the liberal administrations especially kind of placed on Israel when it comes to how they function I mean, like for specific examples, like, that there was going to be a huge assault in Rafah that Biden slowed down considerably to make sure that like 1 million people were evacuated out of there before the IDF moved in and started blowing stuff up again. Or at the beginning of the war, I think there was like a 4 or 5 day ceasefire. There was a halt before airstrikes began to allow some people to move to camp so that it wouldn't have been as disastrous for civilian life as possible. People seem to think that like Republicans and Democrats are the same when it comes to Israel, but that's not true. I wouldn't even say Republicans and Democrats. The problem is that Trump just has no mind for the Middle East, and he's so easily manipulatable. And Israel historically and under Netanyahu has zero consideration for the political realities of other world leaders. So if Netanyahu thinks that he can get something from Trump, he'll get it. I wouldn't even say that Trump is a puppet because that implies some level of manipulation. You don't really have to manipulate Trump. You just have to like kind of buddy up to him and say this would be epic if we did this, and now we have epic fury or whatever for Iran. So yeah, I think the issue is Trump can't say no to Netanyahu because he probably lied to him about getting a Nobel Peace Prize or something for killing the Ayatollah, and beating up Iran would be cool, and Trump's been talking about it for a long time, and he'll basically go along with whatever he says. Like in the short term and maybe even the long term, the war is going to be super beneficial to Israeli interests, but also Israel doesn't care if they're handcuffed to the U.S. anyway. The far right people in Israel want to lose that association because they view it as golden handcuffs because they've been restrained by so many prior administrations. So if this causes a breakup in relations between Israel and the U.S., like think about it. Israel eliminated almost every single major enemy they had in the region. Hamas is gone. The Hamas leadership is gone. Hezbollah is gone. Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, is gone. Assad is gone. They're bombing Beirut now. The Ayatollah is gone. Like every major enemy in the region is gone. They got like every possible thing they wanted. Like this would be the best time for their far right people to split from the United States and to now, embark on their own mission and do what they want.
You would think. Yeah, I think for the most part, we agree on that. A question, one more question about the Middle East, and then we'll let you go here. But the school children, over 175 of them, young girls between the ages of 7 and 11 who were...
I was so angry when I heard that because it was Iran hijacked. They stole one of our Tomahawk missiles and shot it at their own school, I think, right? Is what the U.S. president said?
Correct. And Pete Hegseth holds this press conference, and he's so stupid and incompetent, he doesn't even realize that the target that he's showing is right next to the school. That's how stupid these people are. And then when he was questioned about that, you have Donald Trump, Hegseth, Didn't say it was Iran, but he didn't say it was the U.S. either, even though at that point he knew it was the U.S. And then Donald Trump says maybe it was Iran when Iran doesn't even own Tomahawk missiles. He doesn't even own. It's such an easily proven lie, but yet Donald Trump immediately blames Iran, and he has yet to apologize because he doesn't apologize for anything. And then we wonder why some of these people hate America when these young girls were murdered. And I understand horrible mistakes, sadly, are made in war. And I also would say that, innocent people die in war. I didn't want this war to happen, but what do you make of the way the White House has responded to this? I have yet to hear an apology.
I mean, there won't be an apology. I have yet to hear an apology from this administration. Like, we're showing videos and bragging about blowing people up, in the ocean that we haven't shown any due process or warrants or anything for. I think, didn't we just blow up 3 more people? Or I think we blew up their boat. I don't think we killed the people off the coast. Yeah. There's not going to be any apology. This administration is shameless, and it's just trudging from one day to the next, from one horrific thing to the next, from one war to the next, from the president of peace and the Department of War to the next regime change. Like, I don't know. I hope at one point listen, I'll forgive 20% of this if he can just show the same energy towards Putin. Okay, I'll forgive like 20% of this.
He won't. Yeah, he won't. It's interesting because I was debating somebody the other day about this, and not to go back to Kamala Harris, but a lot of MAGA Republicans that I talk to, even some people that I speak to on a regular basis, I'm like, don't you regret your vote? And some people, not all, but some people still say, no, Kamala would have been worse. And I say to myself, correct me if I'm wrong, Destiny, she wouldn't have started an ill-advised war. She wouldn't have rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. She wouldn't have stolen $175 billion from the American people when it comes to these stupid tariffs that have ruined the economy. She wouldn't have given the top tax breaks to the top 1% of $100 billion. There's so many things I could say that she wouldn't have done, and things she would have done. She wouldn't have taken 20 million people off of healthcare coverage and taken millions of people off of food stamps. I mean, these are pretty basic, pretty important things that Kamala would not have done. And I just think we would have been in a much, not that Kamala's perfect, but we would have been in a much better situation as far as our economy goes if Kamala had won the election.
We would have been in a much better situation as far as literally everything goes. Yeah, it's no question. I don't buy that. Somebody made a post on my subreddit the other day, and I agreed with them. It's not enough if you're talking to, especially another content creator, influencer, but even to an individual, when they're like, man, I don't know, I kind of regret voting for Trump. I don't care if you regret voting for Trump. I need to hear you say that Kamala would have been a better president. That's what I need. Until you're ready to say that, you've not truly understood the despair that you have thrown this country into. Like, by the end of the first Trump term, I was like, man, like, I thought it was going to be really bad. It was kind of worse than I thought in some ways, especially after the January 6th stuff. This term, like, we're a year and 2 months in. Like, it's just, like, there's nothing that he could do that would even be surprising anymore. I'm surprised. The thing that surprised me the most, he hasn't saber rattled over nuclear weapons yet. I'm surprised I haven't heard Trump threaten to nuke anybody. I don't know why he hasn't. Like, it's just unbelievable.
I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. How do you deal with these people on the far right that say that the misogyny? I mean, I get it. I won't even mention names, but there's some people that I've debated recently that think women should be in the kitchen and they shouldn't be allowed to have careers and they shouldn't be allowed to run for office. I was debating one guy last week. I'm not even going to mention his name because he's such a clown. But he made the statement that, well, women are too emotional. And then I looked at him and I said, you voted for Trump. He has nicknames for people that he disagrees with. You couldn't find a more insecure person, an emotional person than Donald Trump, who puts on 8 layers of orange makeup every day. Like, how do you deal with these people who are misogynist? You get it all the time. You're one of the more popular people that share your views that are similar to mine. They'll call you homophobic slurs, right? They'll call you, other words that I can't say on the air, and they have no real arguments. Do you just ignore it? Do you just laugh at it? Because that's a large base of these people. This is who they are, and they can't defend the indefensible. And a lot of these people I find to be, it's part of the culture of MAGA Republicans. I find them to be extremely misogynistic.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Let them do it. Women are some of your most important activated, like, voter related people in terms of, like, doing on the ground work for volunteering and everything. If you're not going to have women as part of your movement, then we'll take them as voters. Let them be as misogynistic as they want. Like, you've seen these divides historically where women have kind of broken off of these movements because of how insanely misogynistic. Like, even as a white Southern woman, you can only tolerate so many times Andrew Tate is being held up as the model man. And yeah, if you want to exclude half the population or 52% or whatever from your political movements, I mean, be my guest.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Well, Destiny, hey, it's going to be fun. I look forward to seeing you at Arizona State. We're going to be debating some people. It's going to be fun. I always look forward to it.
On the 23rd, right?
Yeah, I believe. The 21st is Saturday, right? Yes, on the 23rd, I'm flying out there on Sunday, and I guess we're going to be out there with the tent, and we're going to be having fun, and I look forward to it, man. Always fun watching you debate and to be able to be there next to you and debating with you. I'm really looking forward to that, man, because I think you're. And I'm saying this sincerely. I think you're one of the best. I think you're one of the best.
Well, I'd say I am the best, but I'll take one of the best. I guess. Okay.
No, but you know what? The hate that you get. Before I let you go, I was actually talking to somebody in Tim Pool's crew, believe it or not, about this. And I said, because you deal with this every day. I said, and as my show, I'm nowhere near the following that you have, but as my show gets a little bit more popular as the days go by and more people want to debate me, I get the homophobic slurs, I get the retard stuff and all these other words that are used on social media. And I said, man, these people are brutal. And this woman says to me, she says, if they weren't doing that, you would be doing something wrong. The reason why they're so angry at you and they hate you is because you're a threat to them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. This is why when you look at the very, very far left people, like your Hassan Pikers and everything, these guys are, in a way, these guys are like controlled opposition. They don't really get that same type of hate or that same type of threat. And they spend most of their time fighting with the left that also want to attack them in that type of way. And the reason why is because the conservatives like to have those people in existence because they can just use them as kind of like props every now and then to attack the broader left-wing movement in the United States. So, yeah, I mean, I also feel good because when I see people throwing those types of insults at me, it means that they have nothing of substance to critique me on. So, in some ways, I'm really disappointed by some of the debates I've had. My Norman Finkelstein one comes to mind. But, like, if I was sitting across the table from supposedly one of the Western preeminent scholars on Israel-Palestine, and this guy, on the few facts that he tries to challenge me on, he's incorrect, and he spends the rest of the time screaming names at me, I don't know, I consider that kind of funny. I feel like it kind of vindicates my position a little bit if that's the most you could bring to that conversation. So when you see people say things like that to you, you better believe that if you were wrong on the facts, they would be pounding the facts. But they're not able to do that, so they call you names instead. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Brian, you were dog walked. Oh, Brian, you were cooked. Oh, really? How? Why? Because somebody says a woman shouldn't be allowed to vote, that somehow I was cooked. I mean, again, these people are extremely difficult to take serious. Destiny, you're certainly one of those guys that should be taken seriously. And I look forward to seeing you out there on Monday at the Arizona State campus with the Enough America Tour. And I always appreciate it when you take the time to join us and your large listenership to be a part of your platform too. I certainly appreciate that. We'll see you out there, my friend. Safe travels and look forward to hanging.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll chat with you 3 wars from now, I guess. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, probably. Have a good one, Destiny. Take care, my friend. That's Destiny, everybody. And he has an enormous
dick. That's what he was going to say next.
Oh, that guy seems really, really chill.
Duh.
How'd you meet him?
I don't know. Probably as part of the Unplugged American Tour. Wait, did I cuss one time in that? People were telling me not to cuss. Did I cuss? Did I swear?
I think you're allowed to swear sometimes. I just don't think it can be like too much on radio, if I recall.
You dropped a small hard R.
Well, retard?
Oh, not that one. Not that one, baby.
Oh, based. Problem?
Problem? Where is my streamer?
For this being an emote on Kick?
Jesus,
don't show it on
I wouldn't risk it. Oh, on Kick? Maybe.
On Kick.
On Twitch, I wouldn't, but I don't think I'd risk it. Why? Don't do it.
Why not? Yeah.
Why bring?
We won't. Why bring problem?
What is this? Hold on.
When I see religious events in Trafalgar Square, When I see Hindus celebrating Diwali, when I see Jews celebrating Hanukkah live, when I see Christians performing the Passion of Christ, or Muslims praying, that shows the great strength of our diverse city and country. I've never heard her party call out anything other than the Muslim events. It's only when Muslims are praying. The only conclusion is the Tory party has got a problem with Muslims. When I
Wow. Here, here. Here, here, Amu Tony.
Hey, hey.
I think the thing that I think
JP.
good number of people on the committee are concerned about is
that?
just
Wait, when is he leaving? When is he gone?
very, very low level of job creation. If you adjust what has been the trend
May
job
15th?
Jesus.
creation over the past, let's say, 6 months, if you adjust that for what we think, our staff thinks, is the overstatement due to overcounting, effectively there's zero net job creation in the private sector. The thing that
He's not out until 2028. He's just stepping down his chair in May. Wait, why? Oh, also, Kafka, you're here. Would it be possible for me to pay, I don't know how much you guys are charging fees, if I could get a whole bunch of you guys to pick up clients in the Southern District of Florida that are on any of my judges' dockets and then try to transfer those cases out by arguing different jurisdictions so that you can free up.
Is that legal?
Why not?
Why not, I guess? Well, I guess they'd be working for you, right? Versus the interest of the client?
Well, no, they would be in the interest of their client. Damn, I would pay
Well,
them
is it
under
in
the
the interest
table.
of the
It'd be illegal.
client to
I'd be paying them
swap?
illegally, okay? Chill. Oh, man, who tweeted out? Oh, I think it was that Bad Stats guy tweeted out the Zhang test. If you have this Zhang guy on your program and you just like uncritically platform what he says, and you treat him like a serious person, you're just like, ugh. This afternoon, I had a thought. Hassan changed his camera so his dog isn't on stream. Sonny's traveling to China now to Cuba. I think he might be right. His dog is dead. I don't know if he's dead. He might have gotten rid of it, though. I do think it's funny that he changed his camera angle, though.
There's no way he got rid of his dog.
Well, if he can't show him off on stream infinitely, yeah, I think that's probably the only reason he had him. Okay. Sorry. What are we doing? Read his answer. Wait, read whose answer? Oh. Ooh. Now I hope it goes to trial. I'm pretty sure. I feel like we probably will, or I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows anything now.
Do you know who stood in the way of all of this? Just a fact. Just a fact. Don't let me inconvenience you. Do you know who stood in the way of this entire thing? Joe Biden. Joe Biden did. Because Joe Biden did not take the bait. He didn't take Israel's bait and fight Iran. He had two opportunities. When Israel provoked Iran on April 24 and in July 24, Joe Biden deterred Iran but did not attack them.
Glazing Biden a little too hard. More love for Obama on this point than for Biden.
It was Biden's National Security Council, it was Democrats in the Senate that tried to constrain U.S. weapon supplies to Israel. They wouldn't give Israel a 2,000-pound bomb. And when Joe Biden got in, the first thing he tried to do was reconstitute a nuclear deal with Iran. Go figure. That was the first thing he tried to do. What happened in August 2023? Just 2 months before October 7th, Joe Biden had a prisoner exchange with Iran and unfroze $6 billion in assets that were tied up in a South Korean bank.
Yeah, that was their money.
That then made their way to Qatar and were on their way to Iran. Because Joe Biden was trying to make a grand bargain. It was under Joe Biden that China brokered a rapprochement between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which is a diplomatic revolution. So think of Trump ripped up the nuclear deal. Trump killed Soleimani. Trump designated the IRGC a terrorist group. Trump allowed Israel to annex all of Jerusalem and declare it its capital, which set the stage for Al-Aqsa flood, which set the stage for what is happening.
Those Abraham Accords and the moving of that embassy, not good.
True. Trump oversaw the repassing of the Memorandum of Understanding. Actually, I think it was renewed under Obama, just before. Can't blame everything on Trump. But he set the stage for all of this. Biden tried to interrupt it, and then Trump was brought back to resume.
The trustees of the U.S. Social Security system currently estimate that the OASI trust fund will be exhausted 2033, which becomes a mandate whether change law. The response to the impending exhaustion is likely to rely more on the general government borrowing than on increases in Social Security tax or reductions. As in the most recent major change in Social Security finances, the most prudent way to address the impending exhaustion of the OASI trust fund would feature a balanced combination of payroll tax increases and reduction of benefits received for any given retirement age. Okay.
All right, turn on the hearing.
Hold on. I'm about to. Oh, I got it. Oh, one sec. Just going through my other clips for the day.
Content.
If I could get away with that on the right, man, I'd be making 10 times as much money.
Your guys' biggest content creator is Candace Owens.
She is a liberal.
She is on the right. There is no question. She is completely on the right. There isn't a question. I don't know what to tell you. She's for traditional values.
Like Tim Pool considers himself like on the left to / left center, but
she wants conservative fiscal policy. She was pro-Trump, right? Like she's on the right. She is on the right. She's not part of the left. And what do you have? We have one receipt where she strings together a whole narrative theory about Erica Kirk.
You could fairly say she's neither.
Oh my God.
We couldn't say that. She's either right or far right, but
she's anti-Trump over Epstein. She's anti-Trump over the Iran war.
Oh, look at that. Anti-Trump over Epstein. Anti-Trump over the Iran war. Oh, does she think that Kamala would have been a better president than Donald Trump then?
Yeah, she's jumped off the Trump ship now.
A long time ago.
Is Nick Fuentes left?
2 years ago. Nick Fuentes is
I think people will start biting that bullet though.
What? Oh, maybe at some point, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. The time to test is when you vote. That's when it matters.
Like, it has been advocating for voting Democrat for like 4 years.
And all of these people, mark my word, all of these people will support the next Republican candidate no matter who it is.
No, actually, he advocated for voting for Trump only with the Iran stuff. He's
4 years. No. It has been advocating for voting Democrat for like 4 years. 2 years ago. Nick Fuentes has been advocating for voting Democrat for like 4 years.
No.
Did Fuentes not support Trump in 2024? I don't remember. Split the VOD. Fuck you. But okay, splitting.
Actually, he advocated for voting for Trump only with the Iran stuff. He's swapped to Democrats. Would you actually try to say that Nick Fuentes is left?
Nick Fuentes said not to vote for Trump, and he also said don't vote for JD Vance, and now he's explicitly saying vote Democrat.
Yeah, because
he's a Democrat or a liberal.
Well, he's definitely on the right. He's far right because he's a theocrat.
Well,
I like how Fuentes is not on the right because he's saying vote Democrat or whatever. But if somebody voted for Trump, that's not enough to say they're on the right. So what is this is not serious. He's a dealing serious person. Okay. Man's decided the cops aren't doing enough, so now he's launching desserts at speeding cars. Throwing a cake at speeding cars in school zones.
Fake.
What do you mean? Like AI?
It's just a meme. Fake.
What do you mean by that? Got him.
Going 60 and a 25 in a school zone.
Oh, this is super.
You see it's not on? Yeah.
Well, yeah, this guy is driving like fucking 20 miles an hour, 25 maybe.
Going 60 and a 25 in a school zone. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That ain't good.
Wait.
Oh, looks like we got another one.
Never mind.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be an epic meme.
Sauce off your car, buddy. 61 and a goddamn 20.
Oh, I think we have another speed.
20.
20 in a school zone?
20? That's so slow. I feel like kids would survive that hit. 25 is good. They survived 25.
Down. 47.
You know who the best anti-speeder guys are, right? Well, not anti-speeder, but anti-driving in places you're not supposed to drive.
Oh, the Russians?
Oh, yeah. You've seen it. The sticker guys.
Yeah. Stop a douchebag, I think.
Oh, my God.
No, that's true. ICE.
Oh, true.
Good one, Cheddar.
Rage bait.
All right, y'all. I'm officially coming out as a Republican.
Hot. I wish I could post proof of this. This person can sue me if I'm wrong. When you see random people like this that are popping up and are like, oh, I've decided to switch to a Republican or whatever, these people over half the time are getting paid. There are organizations or there are people that are paying these people as part of these videos, by the way. I know this is 100% true. I know this is...
They don't have to declare it?
I don't believe they do, no. But this is, yeah, because I've learned over the past few months that there are, like, payment things set up where these people get paid money for these types of stupid fucking videos.
All right, y'all. I'm officially coming out as a Republican. The left has truly swayed me over to the right. And I think they're proud of it too, because all of this stupid controversy going on because of a comment that I made on a TikTok video. The left mob is absolutely losing its mind. And I used to be on the left. I used to be gung-ho LGBT. I was an activist for the LGBT people.
It was really rude talking about New Zealand that early before I was awake. Please reconsider next time. Also, Jesus fuck, not showing a street view. I don't need to show a street view. Everybody knows what it looks like because it was in The Lord of the Rings, right? Wasn't that filmed in New Zealand?
Mm-hmm.
And The Chronicles of Narnia. And not knowing where Milford is while scanning the area was infuriating. Listen, 50% of world maps don't even have New Zealand as a fucking country, so you should be lucky that I even found it on the goddamn Google Maps.
Before gays even had a legal right to marry, I was going out and I was a Glenson representative in my school district. But at this point, I don't want to be associated with the LGBT either, despite even being gay, because I can't stand y'all anymore. I make one comment about a grieving mother who was very respectful about how they were referring to their trans child, by the way. They were referring to them as both Michael and Lexi. And in the comments of people that actually knew her child were referring to her child as Michael. And she was shit on in the comments for referring to her child as her son. Because the left, the trans mob, will never accept that. They can't let a woman who is taking responsibility for not being a present enough mother, for not loving her child enough, who's trying to...
Okay, I don't care. I'm good. Trans people and Jews all need to go to the same place so that we don't talk about them anymore. Just kidding. Pentagon officials have made detailed preparations, for deploying U.S. ground forces into Iran, with senior military commanders having submitted specific requests aimed at preparing for such an option if such a decision is made by President Trump. Wow. Based. Is this DEI in my military?
I see. I love my black warriors. That's what Trump would say.
Also, what is this abomination? I thought they'd switch to, what's that new gun now? Or is this what they look like? What's the new thing they're all shooting? With the 10, is it 10 millimeter round? Or no, what are they even?
What are you talking about, Corn Pop?
They have new guns now with a new cartridge. Oh, is it 6.8? I don't know. The M7 and M8? The mate rifle? Never mind, that's based. If you're a normal civilian and you buy any firearm that's in this nasty beige color, you're a loser. You're a loser and a LARPer. Okay? Get it in black. Or gay it out and get it all chroma painted or whatever, but not this. What a disgusting color. What do you do, roll around in the dirt?
I would get mine in rainbow.
Hell yeah. What is this?
Confronted, turned Fetterman says he rushed his son inside, called 911, and took off in his truck after a masked man in black he saw running. But Chris Mayeras, the man Fetterman confronted, turns out to be an innocent jogger who police say had no weapon.
There wasn't any assault rifle shots. It was bottle rockets behind the library.
Mayor Fetterman did have a weapon.
A 20 gauge.
God, how tall is this guy?
A shotgun under the back seat of my truck, which I pulled out and I showed to just say, look, we're going to wait here and we're going to get this all sorted out when the police arrive.
So he held him captive? Also, 20 gauge? Why? What are you shooting at?
Mayeras and the mayor tell very different stories. He says Fetterman
followed me into North Braddock and pulled a shotgun and aimed it at my chest.
Did you point the shotgun at him?
No, I did not. I pointed it, away so that he would see that I was armed, but I did not point it at him. In fact, I didn't even have a round chambered or remove the safety at that point.
For both men, it was frightening. North Braddock's police chief says his officers tell him the shotgun incident was over when they arrived. Mayeras says that's not true. The police tried to laugh it off.
I mean, there's a mayor with a shotgun and 6 other cops surrounded me. What else can I do but this?
I believe I did the right thing, but I may have broken the law during the course of it, and I'm certainly not above the law.
What?
It's fucking based.
Yeah?
I may have broken the law. Fuck it.
There's already 2,000 Marines on the way to the Middle East on amphibious assault groups. What are they going to amphibiously assault?
I mean, is there even water in the Middle East?
exactly.
They lost a primary. Part of a larger story, Mr. Berman. And I would just say that John Fetterman is doing as well with Pennsylvania Democrats as the New York Giants are as liked in the state of Pennsylvania or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I mean, just look at this. Among Pennsylvania Democrats, the net approval of Fetterman. Back in 2023, he was a Democrat liberal darling. He was at plus 68 points. Look at how low he has fallen down to negative 40 points. He's down there with the Titanic among Democrats in the...
Is it true? People were saying Hassan ardently supported this guy. Is that true? John Fetterman has lost it. He has made a turn from his progressive roots.
Fell for it again.
So what's going on with Fetterman? I watched part of this before. Damn, I don't remember any of this.
And Oz, people talked about earlier about does it bother them? It was an exit poll. Does it bother them that Oz is a new resident of the state? As a Pennsylvanian, let me just say the issue wasn't just that he's a new resident of the state. It's that he was from Jersey, which if you're from Pennsylvania, that's not
big no.
That's not from Connecticut. That's a whole other thing it means. But look.
Yeah, you should be disqualified in general. No one from Jersey should ever run for office, and yes, that includes myself.
We're just checking out there outside of Philadelphia.
Disqualified.
3,000 mail-in ballots now have been scanned. They're
in Turkey.
Where was he born? Was he born in Jersey and then he grew up in Turkey and now he lives in
This
California?
dude from New Jersey, dude. I cannot imagine a more sus combination for American politics. You know what I'm saying?
Epic.
Anyway, moving on.
In 2020, they were disproportionately Democrat. In Bucks County, I've been talking about this all night, but because it's so important. Pat Toomey wins Bucks County 6 years ago. He's reelected in a pretty competitive race in the United States Senate, right? So this is very key. Again, so the mail-in ballots. If you look at the moment, that's a 20.
Okay, I don't care that much.
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And put a comparison point on, we always talk about how Chuck Schumer is not well liked by the Democratic base nationwide. Chuck Schumer has a net popularity rating of about -2 points. He is 38 points more popular than John Fetterman is with Pennsylvania Democrats. And I was also looking at Kristen Sinema, who of course ended up leaving the Democratic Party in Arizona. She was considerably more popular just before she shifted over than John Fetterman is at -40 points.
Is this a 108 point swing?
This is an 108 point swing. Very good mathematics here.
I was honestly thinking, is that even possible? All right, how does this compare to other? He faces a primary. If he wants to run again, he faces an election in 2 years. If he runs in a Democratic primary, how have senators who lost their primaries, how does their whole situation compare to this?
I would just know John was off on the screen going, what? Wait a minute, 108 point swing. You never see anything like that, but my goodness gracious. I mean, just take a look here. Okay, 2,000 senators, own party net ratings about when they lost a primary. Bob Smith plus 15, Arlen Specter plus 13. Of course, he switched parties to Democrats. It didn't work for him from Republican. Plus 6, Joe Lieberman. Dick Lugar was at 0 points. Lisa Murkowski was at -15 points.
Dick Lugar.
All of these were considerably more popular than John Fetterman is right now at -40 points. He is below the lowest, the ones who actually got beat in a primary. There is no historical analog to this. That is how unpopular John Fetterman is with Pennsylvania Democrats. There is basically no doubt in my mind that Fetterman decides to run for re-election as a Democrat. He will face a primary challenge and will be a very competitive one.
So Fetterman says that Democrats are suffering from what he calls Trump derangement syndrome. Is that a compelling argument to make among the voters there?
No. I mean, that is the last thing that Democrats want to hear. I mean, look at this. Lowest approval among Dems at this point in term 2. Donald Trump has just a 4-point approval rating. George W. Bush, who was not well liked, was at 10%. Richard Nixon was at 11%. Donald Trump is the lowest of the low on this point. The bottom line is this. John Fetterman, when you look at his net popularity rating at -40 points, he's on a completely other planet from Chuck Schumer, who is also unpopular, and he's on a different galaxy entirely from other incumbents who actually lost re-election far less popular than them.
We set it up by talking about his vote to push Markwayne Mullin through committee. How likely do the prediction markets think Markwayne Mullin is to get confirmed?
Yeah, John Fetterman basically was the bow on this because just take a look here. Okay, Chance Mullin's confirmed as DHS.
This guy's energy is making me uncomfortable. This guy is our new king. He gives us bad polls and he gives us good polls. He's going to be our new needle. Okay, I hope he's there on election night. I'm running our needle.
Secretary, and this is before May of 2026. Look at this, a 98% chance according to the Calstria prediction market. John Fetterman is the big reason why Markwayne Mullin is going to get confirmed as DHS Secretary. Another reason for Democrats who already didn't like him to dislike him even more.
Harriet, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I like you, though.
Oh. Okay. Oh, we already saw that. Cringe. What is this? Use @time on desktop. Everyone sees the timestamp in their own time zone. No more, wait, 8 o'clock your time or mine? Did they not know how to put time zones before? Got them.
Criminal. I did vote for Mr. Trump. Deporting the criminals is a great policy. These foundations are poured ready to go, and we can't even start the construction on them. But we voted for the American dream, and unfortunately, right now, we're not seeing that.
For months, federal agents have been sweeping up workers at construction sites in South Texas.
ICE has raided us anywhere between 10 to 15 times throughout different subdivisions.
Now, work sites across the Rio Grande Valley have ground to a halt. And that's got some Trump supporters in this midterm battleground changing their minds.
These people would just show up to our job sites with no warrants, taking all our workers, even the workers with proper documentation.
Many who work in the construction industry here told us they largely rely on immigrant workers, some of whom are undocumented. DHS did not respond to the Times' request for comment, but in a previous statement, it said these raids protect the nation's workforce.
I've supported Mr. Trump in every election that he's been a part of. We just never thought that this would come and affect us in the construction industry, but most importantly, affect our economy here in South Texas.
We are seeing a reduction of almost 60% of our volume on the residential side of our business. We applied for bankruptcy in December.
We saw a drop in sales of about $5.3 million. For 40 years, we had never laid anybody off, and until this happened, we were forced to.
And beyond construction, local businesses say fear is keeping shoppers at home.
And there's been a lot of loss of sales because of that. It killed us this year.
Construction is one of the main pillars to the economy here. Everybody's hurting.
In the Rio Grande Valley, two of President Trump's top priorities, the economy and mass deportation, are colliding as ICE raids upend the construction industry. And at a parade along...
I will say I am grateful for these Hispanic people, so I don't have to just be ashamed of the Cuban Gusano fucks that are all fucking conservative. I see that also extends to all Hispanic retarded fucking people in the United States. So amen. Good job, guys.
The U.S.-Mexico border, Democrats are trying to capitalize on voters' frustration.
The economic implications are huge. People who voted for Trump are no longer doing it because they can't afford to do it anymore.
For decades, the Rio Grande Valley, where more than 80% of the population...
Wait, am I face blind or I just don't know what's face blind? Is this Talarico or is this somebody different?
That's Talarico.
Okay, based. All right.
Where more than 80% of the population is Latino, reliably voted for Democrats. And in 2024, voters here swung further toward President Trump than almost anywhere else in the country.
You know, I think Democrats stopped showing up here. They took this community.
Do Hispanic people have any other holidays besides that Dia de la Muerte or whatever the fuck, the Day of the Dead? Why do I feel like in everything
Cinco
that has...
de Mayo?
Oh, I hear about that one. I don't know what the fuck that even is. But I feel like every time there's like a Hispanic, any TV show, movie, whatever, they're always celebrating like the Day of the Dead. Do they just do this like nonstop? Is that the only... Do they celebrate this holiday 12 times a year?
I love that holiday, man.
It's just Mexican.
For granted, and so when Republican politicians showed up and made big promises, people took a chance. A year later, we're seeing those promises weren't kept.
So we were going to build 196 apartments here in a year, but because of all the ICE raids and all the enforcements that we've been seeing, it's going to take us 3 years now to go ahead and finish this development.
Wow.
County property records
have thought about using AI.
Show these slowdowns have spread throughout the industry as banks that lend to home builders report fewer transactions.
We were seeing certain banks that did that kind of lending suddenly have much slower activity. Those numbers were declining, about 30 to 40%. We weren't sure why exactly, and I started asking some of these lenders, what is going on?
Name more than 2 white or American holidays that aren't Catholic-based. President's Day and Memorial Day.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah, that too.
We found out that they were struggling to keep their people on the jobs because of ICE.
In February, Mario requested a meeting with ICE through his congressional representatives. He went to Washington, D.C. with a few other builders and pleaded with them to ease up on job sites in South Texas.
They basically told us that if a construction site is not fenced in, it's considered public property, and that's why they don't have to show a warrant. So we started fencing in all our properties.
Okay. He said that after the meeting, ICE activity at job sites did decline, but the damage had already been done.
I hope they realize that this is really, really affecting us.
Hispanics celebrate Catholic holidays, bro. How many Catholic holidays even are there? I know that like Easter and Christmas are the big two. Is Halloween considered like a Catholic? What other Catholic holidays? Lent? Who the fuck? Get out of here. Ash Wednesday? Bruh. Who cares? Lent, Ash Wednesday, Good Friday. None of these are federal holidays, are they? Holidays to me are when the federal holidays, when you're out of school and everything, okay? I know that Wednesday wasn't a stupid fucking holiday because you had to go to school with those stupid fucking ashes all over your forehead. Oh, I'm so holy. Fuck out of here.
And it's affecting the way that we feel towards the administration.
Wow. It's affecting the way we feel. Okay, I'm like 20 links open about Santos. True. Santos all of season 2. God, she just needs to get punched in the spirit to make her shape up or ship out.
She should have been fired season 1.
Whoa, just for being
She's there on fucking day 1 causing problems, man.
Well, but she also discovered a drug abuser, so.
But
he
had it handled.
True, he did have it handled.
He had it completely handled. I don't know.
Professor Zhang made it to Tucker Carlson.
this.
This guy, dude. How much force did the ratchet strap put on this guy? Not safe for work. What's gonna happen? Oh no! Wait. What's gonna happen? Oh!
The fuck are you watching?
Is that like an instant death, or is that like a... Hold on here.
I'm not watching it if it's a real person getting fucking murked.
He might
by
not
a
be dead.
Lawnmower?
Well, no, not a lawnmower. Just there was a strap to hold a tree, I guess, and it snapped.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll watch.
Somebody said almost fatal levels of force. He's legitimately lucky to be alive. Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, he fucking lived. Who cares?
Oh, wait. The consensus on r/Felling Gone Wild was that Felling Gone Wild was that unfortunately this was fatal.
Oh,
yeah, that guy might be super dead.
Oh, yeah, he's for sure dead.
Oh, yeah? You're a felling expert now?
Yeah, big time.
You probably didn't even level your woodcut.
I didn't play that shit game. I played WoW.
Wow.
Wait.
Okay, we got this. Okay, am I hearing? Okay.
Wake me up inside.
I'm going to do a quick... We didn't get to do this earlier. Do a quick tier list, and then we'll watch the hearing, okay?
Let me see.
Okay. Is it because I'm getting older, or do people not use names as much? I don't remember these people's names all the time. Do you know all the names of the people in the show?
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Okay, Jesus. They got some wild ones.
There's a lot of names, too.
I need my Davids and my Michaels, my safe white names, okay?
It's fucking DEI, man.
It's DEI. It's too many weird-ass names, okay? Remember when Asian people came to this country and they realized we need to name all of our children John or Emily? That's what we need to go back to, okay?
They knew what was going on.
Okay. Abbott is S tier. I'm sorry. Okay. I just don't know how I feel about her. And I heard the actor for her, she didn't like the abortion storyline or the miscarriage storyline, so she just left.
Wait, she just left over that?
That's why she's not on season 2.
Jesus Christ, crybaby. F tier.
F tier?
If you're gonna leave out of the fucking show?
The actor is part of a church that does gay exorcisms. Okay, fine. We'll F tier it.
Well, hold on. We might have to A tier her.
Stop. Oh, nurse lady? I like her quite a bit. And she handles shit generally. But she's a smoker. She got punched. She did come back to work. She's one of the few people that can talk to Robbie.
Which one? Oh, yeah. A tier for sure.
Okay.
She's great.
The sexy nurse guy that the Indian girl has a crush on, I think, is this guy.
C for me.
Yeah, he doesn't do much.
He doesn't do anything.
Talking about him. That's not him? Wait, am I mixing him up with oh, no, wait, that's this one.
No.
Ooh, this guy actually is a bit hotter, too.
Oh, wait, no. The Indian lady liked him in season 1, too.
No, it was definitely this guy. This guy is just a nurse that comes in and chats sometimes, but he doesn't say much.
In season 1, the guy that you're clicking right now,
she
tried to ask out, and he said he doesn't do that with colleagues. But then the lady who had the ankle monitor in season 1, she invited him out for drinks, and he was like, yes.
I think that was this guy.
No fucking way. No, I think everyone in chat is literally wrong. I'm 99% sure I'm right.
No, it wasn't this guy. Because, yeah, this guy manages the bets and stuff. Which is cute. I'll put this guy as a B tier. There we go, okay. I like the mean surgery lady who works in the... Is it like ICU or the other? I like her.
She's fine.
I'll A tier her. Man, I sure do wish I could do things on Chrome without it being crazy. Stop. Who is this?
No idea.
The night shift doctor. Other night shift doctor. Doctor who got deposed along with Mel. Oh, she gave Mel advice and said it was pretty easy and not that bad. Has she only been in like 1 or 2 episodes? I feel like we've barely seen her now.
Oh, people said the deposition fucking sucks. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you don't
Maybe
see any
Kathy
of the
said that.
deposition at all, so.
Sure.
She was in season 1 more? I'm just D'ing her, just because we don't see much of her. Social worker lady. I mean, I like nothing special. She just doesn't do anything bad. I'll see tier her. Hospital administrator. Okay, so she's a stereotype of an annoying, overly burdensome administrator. However, props to them for not making it just an old white guy to be evil. So I'll see tier her, okay?
Yeah, I don't think she's not a bad actor or anything.
Well, this isn't about the actors, how you like the characters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then why did you put that lady in F tier then?
Well, because she has a miscarriage and leaves. The fuck?
But that's about the actor, not the character.
Well, she left the hospital too, right? She's not there anymore. The character left too.
I guess. So you're going to say because of the miscarriage? Okay.
Yeah, she must have. They have to write it in. Our TikTok star? I'll B tier her. Yeah. What?
It seems like a little... Oh, you know, I don't know. I don't like the fact that she's like a fucking 22-year-old prodigy.
An Indian with a parent who wants them to go into the same high education profession as them that's pushing them to overachieve or whatever? Is that super unbelievable to you?
No, it's too believable that it's kind of meh.
Langdon? Oof. Well, hold on.
King shit.
Can you make more tiers or whatever?
Just put him at the top of S tier.
No. I feel like there has to be like... Why do I have to keep moving this window to make this work? Okay. I would put him as S tier, but Abbott is just like... Okay. Nurse lady with the ankle monitor and everything. You know what?
I like her.
I A tier, I think. Yeah. I like Mel. Is that okay? The autistic doctor girl?
Yeah, she's good.
A
good
tier?
actor. Good character.
Okay, this one, Marone, what's her name?
Oh, I don't remember her exact name, but yeah, I like
nice.
her too.
Good one.
She was fine.
Mahone?
Mahomie.
She's okay. I feel like everything she's involved in is like a little bit preachy. Like a black person comes in and like, this is like the kind of girl where if you were black and you went to a hospital and you're like, I don't want to be treated by a racist doctor that's not going to take my pain seriously. She's like, I'll take you so seriously. I'm going to diagnose you with sickle cell just by looking at you. Like, it's a little bit too much, you know? She's a doctor? Wait, did I say somebody here wasn't a doctor? These two are doctor. All three of these are doctors. This one's not a doctor. Did I call her not a doctor? She's a doctor. You called McKay a nurse. Oh, sorry. McKay's a doctor. Nurse. Her and her friend. Are these the two that are always speaking Spanish with each other? These two?
Yes. Yes, those two.
I feel like they're pretty funny. But they don't do anything exceptional. I'll B tier them, I think.
I don't do anything wrong.
Robbie.
Our king.
Our king.
I'd put him behind the other guy, but...
Spanish, yeah. It's Spanish. Close enough, okay. I am Santos's #1 hater. I hate this motherfucker.
Me too. I think she should have got fired season 1.
God, I hate this motherfucker.
She came in and acted insane immediately.
Yep. This is the mom of the Indian girl. She's kind of mean to her daughter. I'm C-tiering this one.
Is she mean?
Yeah. Oh, and she roasted her daughter over the when the system was down and that patient thing got fucked up. She's like, "Oh, you're better than just." Like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't like her. Not a big fan of her. Not a big fan of her. Actually, you know what? I haven't even seen her do anything like exceptional medically. Like I haven't seen, like, it's not like she comes in, it's like, oh my God, she really knows her shit. She really just comes in and she's just like a doctor. She's like a whatever.
Yeah, that's how it's always felt to me. Season 1, she just came in and,
oh, I'm a doctor.
She's just doctoring around.
Yeah. Fuck that. The latest episode she does. What did she diagnose her do in the last episode? I'm trying to remember. What was it?
Holy shit. Can you imagine if House shows up in a season?
True.
Actual cinema.
Cuts the rib open. Came out today? Wait, an episode came out today, or you mean the one last night? If she's a surgeon, then she's a surgeon. That's her fucking job.
I mean, the other lady's a surgeon, and we like her.
Which lady? Oh, this? Yeah, because she's funny and epic and based. And she's like, and even though she's smashing Santos, she doesn't let Santos get away with being a dickhead to Langdon. So I respect that. She separates her work and her personal life.
True.
Asian doctor guy, I feel like he has aura. I'm putting him on A. I liked his introduction. He was outside the thing. Robbie's running through all this shit, and you think that Robbie's like the only serious doctor and that this guy's like a jerk off. And then after Robbie runs through, like, he's like, listen, bro, I can handle shit. Okay. Calm the fuck down. Go get your wristbands. Go have an emotional breakdown.
That was season 1, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah. I like this guy. He was good. Who is this white woman?
I think that's like a new second season doctor, if I recall.
Night shift surgeon. Oh, I feel like I barely have seen her. I'll see to her, I guess. I don't know if I've seen her like at all. Well, but I D-tiered her for not seeing her much. I feel like D-tier should be like, you don't like her. No, I'll C-tier him. Because I feel like D-tier, you got to fuck up to get down here, you know? And I don't feel like these two have fucked up at all. Our Nebraska boy, I like Whitaker. And he's smashing the wife of the fire burn guy and like stealing his family.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean, Jesus Christ?
I mean, that is not.
What?
That's not good. He can't do that. That's fucked up.
Why not? He's just absorbed a new family. They got a farm and everything. He's taking over that dude's whole estate. That's Chad.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that guy. That's got to be against some sort of code.
I think the rats did a good job running around while I steered them.
The rats were good.
This doesn't have some season 2. How do we not have? Wait, am I crazy?
But stealing drugs is okay. I mean, the guy wasn't using them.
True. Oh wait, this is just season 1, isn't it? Are any of these people season 2 exclusive or new on season 2? Okay, I don't know.
Aerith's calling you a racist and a sexist.
Based. New Trump clip.
Been hitting them awfully hard. I mean, what we've been hitting them awfully hard. I mean, I don't know if you can possibly get hit harder, but these are thugs and animals and horrible people. But you can't hit anybody harder than we've hit them. But I'm not surprised. They executed 3 young people for protesting. Well, we've been hitting them awfully hard. I mean.
Okay.
You said opening the Strait of Hormuz is a simple military maneuver. Very simple. Yeah, but what did you mean by that? It's a simple military maneuver. It's relatively safe, but you need a lot of help in the sense of you need ships, you need volume. And NATO could help us, but they so far haven't had the courage to do so.
Like, he's just so stupid. That's the thing I hate about him the most. He's just so stupid.
And others could help us, but, you know, we don't use it. You know, at a certain point, it'll open itself at a certain point. But we've defeated the enemy, and they are an enemy. They're a sick group of people. The leadership is gone, the Navy is gone, the Air Force is gone, the anti-aircraft equipment that they have, the radar they have is all gone. Everything's gone. The strait itself, the actual strait, how are you? The strait itself is, we're doing a good job, but it would be nice if the countries, including China, if the countries that use it, China uses it 90% of their energy. Japan is 95% of the energy. It
Wow.
would be nice if those countries would get involved.
And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it? Do you think he knows what it is?
Wow.
No, but
Oh my God. All right. Let me use the bathroom or wash this hair. 1 sec.
It's called the restroom.